Hello, hello, hello! Hi guys! Welcome to my channel, Lunatic Plays. I'm the Lunatic who plays Cities Skylines 2, and as always, none of my screens are up here. Great! Wait. Oh, no. I'm not turning on my camera today because I just woke up. which is good because, as you know, if you have been around, I haven't been sleeping very well lately. So I'm gonna spare you the sights. But here are City Skylines. We can make it nice and wide today. Why not? Here are City Skylines. Yeah, yeah. Perfect. Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. Okay, great. Um, we are back. We have to start building again for the next episode. And we're gonna watch some shit. So it's gonna be a very kind of like chill out sort of situation today. We are going to carry on building for Concordia. We are going to listen to stuff on YouTube, react to it. I don't even know what we're gonna watch on YouTube. Like, honestly, I got so used to the fact that I just wake up on my own at 7 a.m. that I was like, I'll have time before the stream to like organize everything. Nope, I did not. I woke up like 40 minutes ago. So, literally having just my morning coffee. But we're gonna jump in. I haven't done anything for episode 10 yet. I'm starting right now. And I don't have like a huge amount of time, like maybe to like 2:30 today, because I'm going to Dublin to a friend's birthday party, and she's combining it with Halloween, and I have to do a costume and everything. So it's just a bit of a crazy day today, but we can make a start, our mark, defining mark of episode 10. And I kind of want to experiment. I wonder if it's going to break the stream or not, because I'm trying to find the perfect formula for recording these videos for YouTube. Because obviously, like, yeah, we do stuff on stream, but then I do stuff outside of the stream, and then, you know, I like coming up with these videos that I post on YouTube, and they've been getting increasingly more popular, which, honestly, guys, thank you so much for the support that I've been seeing. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful. I'm loving it so much. I'm really, really loving it. Even on times where I feel a little bit burnt out because I just popped out this. But I'm enjoying it, and shooting all these little open promo videos, like kind of like a tourism ad style, opening shots for the videos. I'm just enjoying it so much, and it's really motivating me to keep building, and it's really fun in that way, because when I first started streaming and doing videos and stuff, I didn't like editing. I was even looking for ways to outsource my editing. But with this series, I actually came to really enjoy it, like shooting, directing, and writing all of the episodes, writing all the little ads and stuff. It's really fun. It's really, really fun, I have to say that. But we're here, and today we are going to look at this area of our map. It's the final piece that is missing from the town. We do have a couple of touch-ups here and there on stuff that we've already built, namely because I have discovered Sully's Discord. I haven't downloaded anything from there yet because I just didn't have the time. I've been preoccupied with World of Warcraft, I know. But he has water jets in there, so we can actually make our fountains work. I know, mind blown, right? But I think that maybe a little fountain here, a little fountain here, and a little fountain everywhere else is just what our city needs. And we also have stairs as part of that pack. There's a bunch of different packs. So there's stairs, and there's do you remember I had a bunch of decals and props and networks, like all the way back in the first episode of the series when I did the interchange. I was like, okay, I'm gonna start strong. I'm gonna offer a very good connection into the city. And I built this thing, which honestly, I'm still amazed by it. I love it. And it was all the way back in like June, July, something like this. My God. Like, I'm making the progress so slow. By the time I populate this entire map, It's probably gonna be like 2030. But the devil is in the details, guys. The devil is in the details. I'm taking my sweet time because I want to make it beautiful. Um, but I was using decals and surfaces and stuff from a decal pack of a guy called, well, I seen this first on a channel called Mike Builds, and he does like these really epic style videos of like doing really realistic detailing on things in City Skylines, and it's really cool. The problem is that it's not an officially PDX mod supported mod pack. It's something that you get from GitHub, which kind of like, because I'm trying to share this series, this town with you guys under like the YouTube video link. So there's like a mod list. There's this save file for each episode. So each new episode, the progress that we've made, you know, you can download that save file and actually play it yourself if you want. But obviously, because I'm using so many mods to make it look so gorgeous, like, I mean, just look at it, right? Like, I do my due diligence, excuse me. I really do. I want you to be able to have the mods like relatively easily. So I was just relying on PDX mods, and I was just relying on, you know, the stuff that you can download yourself, and I had like a whole instruction on how to do it and the list, and then there's like a mod list file that you can copy and paste. But even if that doesn't work, you have the mod list. But then if I'm gonna start getting these other mods on the Cities pack, which I do want them, I really want them, like the water jets is something that I cannot even negotiate with. Like, okay, the decals, the props, like the decals, the surfaces, the networks, all that kind of stuff. Okay, fair enough. Like maybe I can work with whatever I've got from PDX mods. But the water jets, I do need a good fountain. Like, come on. I need a fountain. Like, what does a girl have to do around here to get a good fountain? So I think I'm just gonna write up a more elaborate instruction on how to get it. I'll include all the links. I'll include the link as a reference to Solly's Discord, because it's a public Discord. I thought it was something that you can only access over a paywall, that you had to like send a Patreon, which honestly I was debating to do it, but the reason why I didn't, because I was like, if I'm gonna use the mods from there and they're behind a paywall, then I don't want you guys to have to pay for it, because not everybody can do it. And I was like, okay, I want to make it more accessible, so I was just sticking to BDX mods, but it's actually public, so I'm gonna do it. I just need time. But it's gonna happen sometime next week. I'll sit down and have a day and I'll do it. I was supposed to do it yesterday, but I got lost in Azeroth. I'm sorry. So now that we've got that out of the way, I don't have these new mods yet. So I'm not gonna move over here. Here is gonna be our yacht club. I initially popped this magazine industrial park here, but I think that we can make it a little bit more glamorous. But I think that it would be good to have these assets, because I think like maybe another little water feature, a little fountain. We will have a kind of like a modular set of buildings. What I'm imagining for here is like we'll have these kind of like marina style buildings lined up here, and they're gonna be kind of like stacked, kind of like stairs. So you can go from the street into the building here and then go down. There's gonna be a terrace, and then there's gonna be a lower part of the building, and there's gonna be a staircase or multiple staircases going down. So you can go from the quays down here, and then in between there's gonna be like buildings with terraces kind of tiered down with cafes and shops and stuff, and that's like our yacht club. And then up front here we're gonna do a little redevelopment here, the redevelopment as well. So I think that maybe we'll expand a little bit just to offer like a single lane of parking lot, and then we're gonna have a wooden board walkway offering access to yachts and stuff. And I know that boats are coming, and I saw yachts on the trailer for bridges and ports. So perfect timing. We'll add them after they fix the game, after the expansion drops, because you know it, after this expansion drops on the 29th, 14 days grace period. I'm not touching Cities Skylines because I'm not risking corrupting my save file. So after the 29th of October, 14 days, I don't look at this game. And then hopefully after 14 days, everything works again. I've learned from the last time. Last time they released an update. I've learned my lessons. So yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. But I think that these new assets can come really, really handy here. And I kind of like, I'm flirting with the idea of redeveloping this part a little bit. I'm gonna move the bike lanes a little bit. Maybe I'll make them part of the road. So that means I will have to redevelop a little bit here, because I want to include a little parking lot like here. Maybe this area is going to be a parking lot. Then we're going to have a nice kind of like a glamorous entry, a little fountain or something up front here for the yacht club. So the main office building of the yacht club is going to be here, with the main kind of plaza here, here, here. Then the staircases up here, and then the terraces with cafes and restaurants going to be going through here. So that's the plan. And then obviously at some stage we have to do our historic bridge. I'm probably gonna use the very same design that I used here, because it's just so pretty. And you know what? If you find something that's pretty and something that works in this game, you use it. You take it, you use it, you run with it, you don't question it. And that's what I'm gonna do. But for today, we're gonna start nice and slow. We're gonna start with something that we already have, and that's basically our food courts, neo barracks, entertainment zone, and the Forum of Arts area, our little docklands. This is basically done and sorted, so I am just going to start detailing. We need like start with all of our curbs. That's gonna be the first thing that we're gonna do. We need to then lay in our surfaces. This is gonna be kind of interesting. I want to have maybe some green spaces, some plaza-ish sort of vibes, and then obviously everything here underneath the little canopy is gonna be like tables and food stalls and stuff like this. And this is, we're gonna have to look at our functional cubes as well. To add like the entertainment element. As you see, like I'm having a little bit of an issue in the town right now, because there's not enough customers, there's not enough workers, because I'm detailing so slow, I'm taking my sweet time, I'm adding these things. This is the city center, so there's like so much happening here. It's not just to service this little island, obviously. Like there's gonna be stuff here, there's gonna be stuff here, stuff here, stuff there. So like right now, yeah, we have a population shortage, which I will resolve once we get to the Eastern European apartment blocks somewhere there. But it's gonna take time because I want to detail. So I mostly just play with my game paused. I just unpause it for the videos. Yeah, so I think without further ado, we're gonna get into it. And I'll put something on YouTube that we can watch and react to and comment and stuff. I'm kind of waiting for my friend Ima to pop in and make herself known, because there's another catfish video that we've seen, a crazy catfish video yesterday, and I have another one, but I really want her to see it. So something that I kind of wanted to refresh myself and to bring to the masses was to watch the entire history of World of Warcraft, because we sort of been, well, I've been obsessed with World of Warcraft lately. So I kind of wanted to watch one of those lore videos. I generally watch really long form content. Sorry, sippy of my coffee. I generally watch like the really long form content when I'm building stuff in Cities Skylines. So I'll have it playing here. I really want to offer you guys an authentic experience of how this happens. So I'll play it here somewhere in the corner. If you guys want to watch something else as well, just let me know. Like something that's not going to get me banned ideally. So available on YouTube and not behind a paywall. But yeah, let's put it on. Alright, so lore of World of Warcraft. Because I want to refresh myself. Like, I've watched a lot of videos about the lore of World of Warcraft, but it's been a while ago and I forget things, and I'm really noticing how much information I'm missing when I am talking to Raven. Raven knows so much about World of Warcraft. He really knows so much. Okay.
This
Wait,
video is brought to you.
1 second. So, okay, there's a list of 74 videos, the story of classic WoW. And they're like ranging between 20 minutes and an hour. Like the key characters have longer videos. Side characters have shorter videos. What is the one that I've seen before? I remember I really like. Was it Bellular Studio Lore of World of Warcraft? There was like a 2 hour long video that it was like I felt like that was like comprehensive enough to immerse myself, but I feel like a list of 74 videos, some of them an hour long. That's a bit much even for my standards. But like an hour to 2 hours is perfect. Let me find it. I know I should have come prepared. I know. But you know, we don't always get the things we want in life, and I slept last night, which is something that doesn't happen all the time. And I actually I slept so long and I'm so rested. And I'm so happy about it because I'm going to Dublin and I'm not gonna be falling asleep in the first hour of my friend's birthday party. Like this is unknown territory almost to me because I'm always tired because I never sleep. Okay, there's a Lore World of Warcraft full collection. Let's start. Okay, they're starting with the Lich King here, so that's not a good beginning. I kind of want to start. I want to start with the classic WoW. I want to start like where it all began. The complete history of World of Warcraft.
We began chronicling the history.
Okay, there is a Bellular Warcraft series. So they go from different patches of World of Warcraft. Humble beginnings of World of Warcraft, complete history of WoW, and then first ever patch intro, then ruins of Dire Maul, then Azeroth Ablaze. Okay, and they are like 13 minutes video long contents. Okay, they only have 13 of these here, and I think that this only covers the first expansion. You know what? I think I'm gonna go with the one that I looked at originally. Okay.
Hello everyone.
Sorry.
This video's
All right. We go with the 74 video playlist. You know what? If I'm gonna be building the city till 2030, I may as well be educating myself about the very useful information of the lore of World of Warcraft until that point. So let's go. Let's geek out, everyone. Where is... All right. Here is the video, so you guys can see it. I'm gonna make it a bit smaller. I'm gonna put it here where I normally have my camera because it's like, I think it's like the best. Can I bring my... Okay. Okay, so here's the screen. You let me know if it's too big or too small. I think we'll leave it like this, and it's a good enough spot. Like that's where generally my webcam is. You'll be able to see what's happening on screen. I don't know if much will be happening on screen. I do want to make a watch through every single cinematic of World of Warcraft since it's conceptual at a certain time. But honestly, I think that I'm gonna do that on my pumpkin carving live stream. I'm gonna carve pumpkins at some stage next week live, so maybe we will watch that. Because I am so pumped for the new expansion. I am so pumped and back in the hype of World of Warcraft. I just need to know everything. And this is the best way to do it. Let's go.
Brought to you in collaboration with
Let me know if the
Wowhead.com.
volume is okay, by the way.
Hello everyone.
4 years have passed since the mortal races banded together and stood united against the might of the Burning Legion. Though Azeroth was saved, the tenuous pact between the Horde and the Alliance has all but evaporated. The drums of war thunder once again.
That introduction is where it all began. The story of classic World of Warcraft. Now with beta up and running, what better time than to sit down and talk about some of the major storylines that played out within the game. The 4 years that she's talking about. That is when we saw the events of Warcraft 3 play out. And anyone that would like to prepare themselves for classic World of Warcraft, I'd highly recommend to have played Warcraft 3 at least once. The game is a little bit old by now, but it definitely stood the test of time, and it's
I love this guy's accent. Warcraft 3. Like he sounds like a vampire from Transylvania. I love it.
still amazing to play through. Now in the RTS, we saw the Guardian Medivh give Warchief Thrall a vision. Bring your people to the ancient lands of Kalimdor. They're needed to
Wait,
help protect
I think it's Scottish accent. Never mind.
the world against the Burning Legion. Thrall's horde was different from the one infused with demon blood that stepped through the dark portal
What
to
is
conquer
this
the world.
accent?
Was
It's
then defeated by the
great.
alliance of Lordaeron
He sounds
at
like a
Blackrock Mountain,
vampire.
and those that surrendered, they were placed within internment camps. Some of the orcs managed to flee through the portal back home. Some took up residence in their base within Blackrock Mountain. Others had already left the horde behind. All much better fates than to stay within the internment camps. These were not exactly the best place in the world to
Actually, wait, I forgot to do one thing. Because I actually do want to record it. So I'm gonna also turn on OBS, and now let's see if the stream collapses, because I'm gonna have two streaming platforms active at the same time. Hell yeah, let's overload my computer. Why not? Why not? Let's do this. And actually, you know what I generally do when I'm recording these videos? I'm so fucking organized, except for when I'm not, but most of the time I am. I have like a whole folder. So like I start a folder with the episode. So like go episode 10. And then I have subfolders for like each part of the episode. So like each episode is like is made out of like the open shot, the like really creative advertisement style, kind of like a trailer for the city kind of thing. And then you have the intro, and then you have the plan of what's gonna happen, which I'm gonna do those retrospectively because ADHD, y'all. But I'm also, and then I have like the parts. So like this part is going to be the Docklands Entertainment Zone. This part is going to be known as the Yacht Club. Then this is gonna be either part of the historic bridge because it's just a parking lot, it's not that deep. And then at the end we're gonna do some signage as well. But basically, like, I have separate folders for each one of them, so then like if I have, say, like 5 recordings, 10 hours each, or no, okay, maybe not 10 hours each, I'm exaggerating, I'm a drama queen, but if I have like 10 recordings, 2-3 hours long, 2-3 hours each, for each one of my sessions, then at least like I know what they are depicting, and I don't have to go through like every minute of the footage of each one of those videos. So like this helps me to stay organized. So generally #01 is open, and then get all my folders done. 02 is intro, and then #1 is plan. Oh. Ah! Jesus. I'm clicking buttons that I'm not supposed to be clicking. Okay, let me just get that out of the way real quick. The plan, and then 2 is going to be the Dockland entertainment zone. Amazing. Okay, so that's what we're gonna focus on today. Let's go into settings of OBS. I'm recording normally at 30,000 bits, 30,000 kilobits, and so it's a pretty big, like, it's a pretty big big thing. Okay, select folder, apply, all right, and okay, let me see. So, game. What if you capture a display? Capture this one. Okay. Display capture works, so I can do it in this way. Okay, perfect. Anyways, I have my Cities Skylines on a particular display, and it's not going anywhere. Start recording. I got myself a 5 terabyte disk just to hold all the hours and hours and hours of recordings of Cities Skylines, and I generally like purge them after. Like, I keep them for a duration of for 2 episodes, in case I need something from a footage from a previous episode or something like that, and then I delete them after that. Then I just rely on the shorts and the actual edited video. But yeah, the disc has been a godsend. It's very handy. All right, let's play it.
Find yourself in. There were guards pissing on you. They were mistreating the prisoners. The demon blood was still lingering in their veins. Some might say that death would have been a kind option compared to living in these camps. Vrao was still a baby when the original horde was defeated. With his parents murdered, the babe was left to die in the wilds. But that would not be his fate. A Dalish Blackmore saved him, a man who ran one of these internment camps, but he did not do so out of the kindness of his heart. He actually planned to use Vrao, to raise him as a slave gladiator, teach him to read, tactics, the way of war, and when the time was...
Yeah, I know, the story of Troll is really, really tragic. Like, he's such a character, and I never knew, like, I remember when I first started playing World of Warcraft, I was like 10, so I was a kid. I was very judgmental, so I joined the Alliance, obviously, and I was like, oh my god, what are these orcs? They're so ugly. Like, oh my god, why are they so ugly? They're so green. And then when I was like 14, 15, I actually like looked into the lore, and I found out the lore of Troll, and I was like, I hate humans. I fucking hate humans.
Right, have him lead the other orcs in another war against the world. This one, with Adelis, leaned the charge against his own people. The son of Duratan and Draka learned the cruelty of man while growing up, but thankfully also the kindness and compassion that the humans possessed from people like Tarifa Foxton. She was his childhood friend, showed him kindness, even helped him escape at the cost of her own life. Vrao would leave the camps behind and meet up with pockets of orcs still living on the planet. Gromar's Hellscream with his Warsong clan, Drekvar and the remnants of the Frostwolf clan, the clan of his parents. Even Orc and Doomhammer, war chief of the Horde when they were defeated, but had escaped captivity from the Alliance. He was
Actually,
impressed.
you know what? Sorry, I know I'm posing a lot. I'm just gonna tell Raven what we're doing because he's gonna love it. Oh. Alright, sorry. I needed to text Raven because I know that he would be so up for this video.
And inspired by young Vrao, together they rose up to bring freedom to their people. While fighting, Doomhammer lost his life, and he decided to pass on his armor, his title of war chief, and legendary Doomhammer to Vrao. That was the beginning of this brand new horde.
For the Horde!
For the
The
horde!
answer to Reeves' call. For all stolen ships, they ended up in a sudden fierce storm, and they had no choice but to seek shelter on land. On the island, they met Senjin, leader of the Darkspear Trolls, who saw their coming in a vision. His people at the time are dealing with humans that are quite hostile to them, establishing outposts on the islands, but it would not be the humans to take Senjin's life. That was actually done by the Murlocs, worshipping a sea witch, a Naga, as we later find out. Senjin was sacrificed for her glory. His son Vol'jin would then take over leadership, and the Darkspear Trolls, they decided to come along with Thrall. They escaped from the sinking islands, and they joined the Horde. When all of this took place, Vol'jin was actually on a quest to become the Shadow Hunter that we know him as, together with his bestest buddy Zelazane. He wasn't there when his father died, and while a big portion of the Trolls followed Thrall on his journey, Vol'jin and some of his tribe, they weathered the Sea Witch's anger. They did so to gather all the supplies that they could, take it with them, and join their brethren around a year later in the new orc nation of Durotar. But the friendship between Vol'jin and Zelazane was not meant to last. Zelazane had gone mad with power and betrayed their tribe. With the use of dark voodoo, he robbed most of the Darkspear Trolls of their free will, forcing them to obey him. Vol'jin feared that all of his people would eventually fall to Zelazane's sorcery, so he ordered the tribe to abandon the Echo Isles completely and move to the fishing village called Senjin on the coast of Durotar. Heroes are going to be sent out to strike at Zelazane and his forces to win back the Trolls' first home on Kalimdor.
Stay away from the voodoo.
Now, not all the trolls that you're going to encounter during Classic will be this friendly. The Sand Fury trolls in Zul'Farrak, they hold powerful treasures, and legends tell of a mighty creature that they worship, a teacher called Gazrilla. More powerful and more deadly, that would be the Loa Hakar the Soul Flayer. This is an ancient, terrible being that the trolls are trying to summon within Zul'Gurub. This is not the first time that they tried this either. But back then, the green dragon aspect Ysera, she put a stop to their plans, sinking their temple of Atal Hakar. This time, it's going to be up to heroes of the world to stop the rise of the Blood God, to stop this threat before it can spread any further. We're even going to see some friendly Zandalari trolls that are going to show up to help out. Now back to Warcraft 3. After finally arriving in Kalimdor, Thrall had to spend some time tracking down the rest of his forces as the storm had separated them. While doing so, he ran into Cairn Bloodhoof, leader of the Bloodhoof Tauren, in the middle of their own war against the ancient enemy, the Centaur. These creatures are born from the union between Princess Feridras and Zeytar, the son of Cenarius. You actually run into this beautiful being as you adventure into Moradin. Now Thrall, he would not ignore the injustice that he was witnessing. His horde stood as a beacon of hope for races, just like the Tauren. The misunderstood, the oppressed and the forgotten, and his horde would fight to protect those in need. Together, they bring the pain to the Centaur. The defeat, it shocks the creatures and sends them limping out of the barrens in disgrace. Never again.
Was the Horde the original Bolshevik revolution?
Would they see the Tauren as easy prey, and the Tauren saw the promise of a new future. At last, they had broken the cycle of conflict. The Tauren's nomadic existence was over. While Cairn helped Thrall with reaching Medivh, some of his people, they ventured west into a grassy plain known as Mulgore. There it was, where they would finally settle and build a permanent home of Thunderbluff. Thrall and Cairn's adventures together would forge a near unbreakable bond, and so the Tauren also decided to join the Horde. That leaves only one more race that's going to join the Horde to be explained, the Forsaken. But to do that, we'll have to backtrack a little bit and explain how the Burning Legion was planned to come into the world.
To be honest, I wish that I started this from like the very beginning, like there was before the Well of Eternity events. But let's finish this video and we'll go to the Well of Eternity.
Mentioned before, the Alliance of Lordaeron had defeated the first Horde invasion. This was an alliance of the major
This is World of Warcraft lore, the ADHD order.
kingdoms, the High Elves of Quel'Thalas, dwarves and gnomes banded together for the sake of Azeroth. The Horde would then come back for a second invasion, to which some of the greatest heroes stepped through the Dark Portal to take the battle to the Horde. These heroes were forced to close the portal on the other side, would not be seen until the next expansion, meaning that the Alliance had lost quite a bit of firepower. Not to mention that at times of peace, it had started to fracture the Alliance quite a bit from within. On top of that, the Legion also sent over one of its most powerful creations, the Lich King, to get their invasion started. With the aid of Kel'Thuzad and the Cult of the Damned, they worked and planned to spread a plague across the lands of Lordaeron. They did not just murder its population, it also brought them back as undead. Within Scholomance, School of Necromancy, they expanded their power and influence, made ready to cleanse the world. These actions did not go unnoticed, of course. The king, he sent out his own son Arthas to investigate, accompanied by Miss Jaina Proudmoore of the Kirin Tor. They eventually found out what was going on. At Strefholm, Arthas made an impossible decision. He was going to purge it, stop the undead before they could spread any further. A A decision that would have everlasting effects on the city.
Yeah.
A decision that Jaina couldn't believe. This was a road that she couldn't follow her beloved prince on. She left him, which placed them on completely different roads in life.
I remember there was a very epic cinematic associated with the story of the betrayal of Arthas.
Arthas would eventually make his way to Northrend, pick up Frostmourne and become an agent of the Lich King, while Jaina, she would be guided by Medivh, take the survivors of Lordaeron to Kalimdor to eventually stand with Thrall against the Legion. She did just that, while Arthas and the Scourge left a path of death and destruction in their wake, en route to Quel'Thalas. The elves did their very best to protect their lands. Many brave souls laid down their lives and were brought back to aid the army of undeath. Their ranger general, Sylvanas Windrunner, did everything she could to hold the line, to slow down this inevitable march, but ultimately, she too fell to Arthas and Frostmourne. The peaceful bliss of death was denied to her. She had been such a pain to fight that Arthas decided to bring her back as a banshee, now forced to obey his every command. Obey him as the high home of the High Elves fell, and their sunwell was used to resurrect Kel'Thuzad as a lich. He in turn summoned Archimonde into the world, who set his eyes on the World Tree Nordersil and his ancient enemy, the Night Elves. They had fought back a Legion invasion before, over 10,000 years ago, something that Archimonde still clearly remembered. But for Arthas, he eventually lost a huge chunk of his power, given to him by the Lich King. Enough so for Sylvanas and others amongst his undead creations to regain control, rise up against the former master. These forsaken, they rallied to Sylvanas' side. She did her best to claim revenge, but Kel'Thuzad, he remained ever loyal to Arthas and saved the prince's life, so that he could travel back to Northrend and eventually merge with the Lich King. His kingdom was left in the hands of his faithful Lich, but Sylvanas had other plans in mind. She wanted her revenge against Arthas, and first up was the dominance of the land left destroyed by the prince. But that was not that easy to do. The Dreadlords, demons of the Legion, they were meant to keep an eye on these undead operations. They were still hanging out in the land, and they were not just going to hand it over. Varimafras was the first to fall, begging for his life. Sylvanas was willing to give him a chance to fight at her side and prove his worth. With his aid, she focused on Deathrock, who had mind-controlled the local humans under the command of Garithos. Their minds were liberated, Deathrock fell, and Garithos' forces were added to hers. She promised him to give them the lands back if he helped her out, a promise that she never intended to fulfill. Belnazar, the last Dreadlord, was slain by Varimafras himself as a final test of his loyalty, while, with their mission complete, Garithos became a snack for her ghouls. Not a man that would be quickly missed. Now taking the lands and holding them, they are two different things. The Scarlet Crusade, with their monastery, that's an organization hell-bent on eradicating the undead. They've also been infiltrated by Dreadlords and became so zealous in their quest that they could no longer see the difference between the living and the undead. There's also Kel'Thuzad to consider. Humans and other forces that are not too friendly towards what they see as the Scourge. They are in desperate need of the allies, and it's the Horde that lets them in. Now back over at Thrall. He eventually finds Medivh, who tells the War Chief as well as Jaina that they need to work together for the sake of the world. Quite a bizarre idea at the time, the Alliance and Horde working together, considering the past between the two, but they are very wise leaders and decide to put the past behind them. This leads to some amazing events, like Gromar's Hellscream sacrificing himself to slay Manoroth, liberating his people from the demonic curse. Their group also makes contact with Malfurion Stormrage and Tyrande the Whisperwind. They're the leaders of the Night Elves and well aware of Archimonde being back on the planet. They team up with the plan of blowing up the World Tree Nordersil and Archimonde with it. This would mean that the Night Elves are going to lose their immortality, but that's a small price to pay if it means...
That was on Mount Hyjal, right? And what it seemed like the Night Elves have lost their tree twice, because Nordrassil got destroyed and then Teldrassil got destroyed by Sylvanas in BFA. Hopefully, their new home on the Dragon Isles is gonna be okay.
It's the salvation of the world. Malfurion gathers the ancient spirits of the forest, while their forces hold off Archimonde for as long as they can. By working together, they're able to do the unthinkable. They actually defeat Archimonde. Medivh's plans have worked out just as he had hoped. His time on the world was over, but Jaina and Thrall, they decided to do their best to keep this peace going. She took the remaining survivors of Lordaeron, and they settled within Faramore. While Thrall, he also decided to stay in Kalimdor, in a land called Durotar, named after his father. Their capital of Orgrimmar, named after Orgrim Doomhammer. That will be the Horde's bastion of power in the region. Now this had Thrall and Jaina trying to make the Alliance and Horde see that amazing things are possible when they're working together. Not everyone is able to let go of the past like that though. Forces from both both within and without, they keep those drums of war going.
The drums of war, thunder, once again.
So what might the Alliance look like? Well,
Yes,
considering the events
This
that...
is, I think, the original World of Warcraft. So I think Warcraft 3, if I remember correctly, ended with the shaky piece between Alliance and Horde, with like Jaina and Thrall working together.
took place in Lordaeron, the High Elves and the humans from that area, they're off the table. Instead, we see their sister kingdom, Stormwind, adding their humans to the ranks. Quite a lot of people were surprised to hear that it's King Anduin ruling them, believing that people are mixing it up with the current lore, but even back then, it's young Anduin Wrynn that was the king of Stormwind. The story behind that has to do with Deathwing and his child Onyxia. Disguised as Lady Katrana Prestor, she has her black dragon claws deep into the House of Nobles. She was able to convince them not to pay the stonemasons what was promised after the work of rebuilding Stormwind, which led to riots in the streets, the death of Varian's wife Tiffin, and the rise of the Defiance Brotherhood. Led by Edwin Van Cleef, they took up residence within the Dead Mines, planning their revenge. But they were also recruited by Katrana to kidnap Varian. Her goal was to gain control over the human kingdom, and she planned to split Varian into two. One was going to be the weak-willed Varian, which she could easily keep on the throne, easily manipulated. And then the strong-willed Varian, his stronger side, that would simply be killed off. Sadly for her, those plans didn't exactly work out. The strong-willed Varian, he was able to escape, but all of that actually happens off-screen, and you don't really see it play out in the game. Instead, we eventually figure out who Katrana really is. We expose her for all to see.
So the game broke. I have to restart the game. Let's begin a new save file. Then the clans entertainment zone. Alright, that's safe. Okay, while the game is restarting, let's keep going.
And send her running back to her lair, where heroes gathered to slay.
But I do feel like we probably need a quick overview of like everything that happened from the beginning with like the world of Azeroth. Because we're getting into like the nitty-gritty events of what happened across Warcraft 1, Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3 just before World of Warcraft started. But I think like it's important to also know the mythology.
The dragon and bring her head back to Stormwind as proof of demise. Story-wise, she actually kidnapped Anduin and took him back to her lair, but was then slain by the two Varians and a group of heroes. In their confrontation, she was even kind enough to turn Varian back into one single being, but during Classic, it was actually Anduin ruling the city, with Katrana and Bolvar Fordragon at his side. The legendary paladin, appointed as Regent Lord to handle the day-to-day duties of administrating the kingdom until the child was a little bit older.
You hold a grim destiny in your hands, brother. But it is not your own.
Bolvar.
Yep, it's that Bolvar. Joining them are the Night Elves, which might seem a little bit odd, considering that they did team up with the Horde against the Legion. But at the same time, the Horde also killed the demigod Cenarius, who is Malfurion's teacher in the druidic ways, and they also chopped down a fair bit of their sacred forest for lumber. The lands of Durotar and the Barrens, they're not exactly rich with resources, which is a battle that we can see play out within Warsong Gulch. There's also the battleground, Rafi Basin and Alterac Valley, both of them showing the Alliance and Horde clashing with each other.
My heart sleeps in the Emerald Dream.
After blowing up Nordrassil, the Night Elves now live on a brand new world tree called Teldrassil. This one does not have the same blessings
Not
as
for
Nordrassil
long.
did, so the Night Elves, they still have to deal with no longer being immortal. The tree was actually planted by Fandral Stackhelm against Malfurion's wishes. The Archdruid believed that nature would never bless such a selfish act. And he was right. But even more dangerous is the part where Fandral, he's been corrupted, is being manipulated by the old gods. Ages ago, Fandral lost his son in the War of the Shifting Sands, which was a massive battle to contain the threat of the old god Cthulhu. Through many sacrifices, they were eventually able to set up the Scarab Wall and keep Cthulhu contained. But now the image of his dead son is manipulating Stackhelm. Cthulhu and his forces are still a massive threat to the world though. So much so that the Alliance and Horde, they're going to pool their swords together and do the impossible. Stack up on nature resistance gear, venture into Ankh-Kiraj, and they're going to defeat Cthulhu. The old gods, these dark and powerful entities, they're locked beneath the surface of the world, desperately wanted to break out of their prisons. Teldrassil has been corrupted through the effects of the Emerald Nightmare. But this is not the only old god influence that we're going to see throughout Classic. Nearby, in Black Fathom Deeps, the Naga are protecting and making sacrifices to Akumai, which is a creature that holds a sliver of the old god's power, but is still incredibly dangerous. There will be world bosses, known as the Dragons of Nightmare, green dragons taken by the dream's corruption, that will occasionally wreak havoc on the mortal world. The ogres in Diremal, they also feel the nightmare's effects, and the dangers of the Wailing Caverns. They are caused by a druid stuck within the nightmare.
The Emerald Nightmare being corrupted is the race that we've been doing last night.
All in all, you might want to pay close attention to the quest that you do for
Became
Sack
relevant
Helm,
again
as
in
he does
Legion.
not believe that Tyrande is the right ruler.
I have vision that she lacks.
Then, the gnomes of Gnomeregan, they remain loyal to the Alliance. Their brilliance has sprung some remarkable inventions, and also established the Deep-Run Tram, fast transport between Stormwind and Idaforge. Sadly, they don't really have a capital to offer, since in the war against the Trogs, their appointed leader, Gelbe Mekatorg, he made some horrible decisions. He listened to Sicko Firmaplug, a gnome he'd been friends with for a very long time. Sicko had the idea of using gas to wipe out the Trogs. The gas should have stayed in the quarantined areas and the lower sections of Gnomeregan, poisoning the invaders as they emerged from the depths, while the gnomes, they waited safely sealed away within the upper urban tunnels. At the time, this had seemed like the only way out of their unforeseen invasion. Firmaplug had seemed so confident that this stuff would do the trick. Sadly though, most of the Trogs had just shambled through the gas, if anything, growing wilder as they became irradiated. Even worse, the gas had risen through Gnomeregan, killing the gnomes who had sat waiting in their homes, choking on vile green clouds behind doors that their High Tinker had promised to keep them safe. 80% of their population, they died that day. Even Sicko was surprised. His calculations, it had estimated around 30% of a population. That's how far he was willing to go to make Gelbin look bad. Sicko escaped his punishment and now rules over Gnomeregan, driven mad by the radiation. Meanwhile, the dwarves of Idaforge, they were kind enough to give the gnomes a place in the city, but the gnomes, they could see the pity in their eyes. That was the hardest part. For a race of ambitious folks whose lives were validated by a masterful command of the scientific laws of the universe, to be pitied was simply unbearable. To be pitied was to be insulted. Gelbin knew, for the
That's so
sake of his
sad.
people, they would have to retake their former city, retake the beloved Gnomeregan, and retake their gnomish pride.
Hello there! Welcome to Tinkertown. Any news from Gnomeregan?
Speaking of the dwarves, they're the final option of races amongst the Alliance. Once upon a time, all the three dwarven clans, Dark Irons, Wildhammer and Bronzebeard, they lived together within Idaforge under the rule of Modemus and Vomar. Their king died, and a civil war broke out. One that was won by the Bronzebeard clan, which meant that the Dark Iron and the Wildhammer, they had to go. The Wildhammers eventually settled in Grimbetal, doing pretty good for themselves and letting things be. Whereas the Dark Irons, they built a city in Red Ridge Mountains. Or at least, that was what was known like back in the day. They couldn't let it go though. They were still fuming
I
at
feel
their
like this
defeat,
video
and
is
they gathered their forces to
it's
retaliate.
like an introduction to all of the races that you got to choose from at the beginning of World of Warcraft in the very like the first patch in Classic.
Both the Wildhammer and the Bronzebeard were able to repel the attacks and combine their forces to stop the Dark Irons once and for all. Emperor Fauruzan, leader of the Dark Irons, he scrambled to find a way to defeat his enemies. He decided to draw on the fiery power from deep within the world and use it as a weapon. A great spell was woven, but while conjuring, his mind turned to the death of his wife and his recent defeats. Anger roiled through his heart.
Okay,
affecting
ready
the
to jump back
spellwork.
into it.
Unwittingly, he ripped Ragnaros the Fire Lord from his elemental plane of fire, summoning him to the surface of the world. The Fire Lord's violent rebirth sparked a series of apocalyptic explosions that instantly killed Fauruzan and shattered the surrounding mountains. The raging volcano, known as Blackrock Mountain, now towered over the ruined Dark Iron Kingdom. The land was renamed to the Burning Steppes and the Syrian Gorge. Fauruzan's subjects that managed to survive his spell were gone wrong. They were enslaved to Ragnaros. From his lair in the Molten Core, the Fire Lord gave his orders and had them carve out a new fortress under the mountain, which was called Shadowfort City. Within their fiery home, they would continue nursing the hatred of the Wildhammers and the Bronzebeards. Now the battle at Grimbatul, it had done so much damage that the Wildhammers, they decided to move on. They settled in the hinterlands, but the war against the Dark Irons, it had smoothed things over between them and the Bronzebeards. We would actually see the Wildhammers fight with the Alliance of Lordaeron against the Horde, but they're not available in Classic quite yet. All we get are the Bronzebeard clan, who were led by Magni Bronzebeards. They are very keen on figuring out their heritage, where they came from, how they were created. Part of their quest for knowledge that will take us into Uldaman, an ancient Titan vault. The King of Idaforge also needs the aid of heroes to go and rescue his daughter Moira. She's been captured by the Dark Irons and taken to their city. Much to the
She's been our
surprise of
quest
the Alliance
giver
infiltrators.
in War Within.
Moira was actually furious at their actions, this so-called rescue mission. Over time, she had fallen in love with the leader of the Dark Irons, as, unlike her father, he actually showed her respect, kindness, did not think less of her simply because she was born as a woman. Pregnant with Vauderson's child, she decides to not return home, instead carry on his work, put aside her anger and lead the Dark Irons. This strike on Shadowforge City, it had left her clan in absolute chaos, and for the moment, this was an advantage, an opportunity to get them out of enslavement. While Ragnaros' forces were distracted, she quietly let out word that the Dark Iron Dwarves were being forced to create a massive army for the Fire Lords. To draw as much attention as possible, Moira made sure that the rest of the world also knew that there were riches and artifacts to be found, untold power hidden deep within the mountain. She hoped that some adventurous or greedy heroes would band together to shatter Ragnaros' defenses and banish the Fire Lord back to the elemental plane. Her plan worked better than even she could have dreamed. The Hydraxian Waterlords, elemental beings of water who were natural enemies of the fire elementals, they also got wind of this. They offered aid and rewards to anyone foolish or brave enough to challenge Ragnaros. As the Molten Core defenders fell, the
That was one of the
champions decked
first
themselves out
raids.
in their fire resistance gear. They used the gifts of the Waterlords to destroy Ragnaros' protective runes, leaving no barrier between them and the Fire Lords. Ragnaros' strength was legendary, but it was not enough to slaughter the invaders. In defeat, he was banished back to his elemental plane, meaning that the Dark Irons were finally free. Their leader didn't stop there though. Ragnaros only held control over the lower half of the mountain, the upper half that belonged to Nefarian, Deathwing's son and brother to Onyxia. He'd been working very hard on accomplishing his father's goals of reinvigorating the Black Dragon flight. He was experimenting and combining the power of all 5 different flights to create a powerful new one known as the Chromatic Dragonflight. Nefarian had kept his presence shrouded, relying on unusual allies to protect his territory. Some of the orcs that survived the defeat at the hands of Lordaeron, they made base within the mountain. They were led by Dalrend Blackhand and saw themselves as the true Horde, did not acknowledge Thrall as the war chief. With the promise of the Black Dragon's aid, a lie by Nefarian, they teamed up with the Black Dragons, enemies that Moira needed to take care of. Once again, she had her people send information to the far corners of Azeroth, telling the world that Dalrend's horde had allied with the Black Dragon flight. Her spies made sure that this knowledge found its way to Orgrimmar. As she suspected, it immediately caused an uproar amongst the leadership of the Horde. Thrall had known about this true Horde for years, but he had never imagined that they posed any real threat. If Black Hand was foolish enough to trust the son of Deathwing, then there was little time to waste. Though he was a mighty warrior, the Horde's heroes he faced were mightier still. The self-proclaimed leader of the true Horde, he died in his stronghold. His followers then scattered, abandoning the Black Dragon flight. Nefarian turned his wrath on the Horde's intruders, but they did not flee. They cut their way through endless waves of Nefarian's twisted creations, until he too fell to their strength and persistence and beautiful Onyxia scale cloaks. A scale from his sister, imbued in the gear, protecting them from being engulfed by Shadow Flame, they defeated the Lord of the Blackrock Mountain. The Horde's champions took Nefarian's head as proof of their victory and returned to Orgrimmar as conquering heroes, which left Moira and the Dark Irons to wait for the perfect opportunity to return home and reclaim Idaforge. But that, of course, is future talk. Now, the last raid to talk about, that should be a familiar one. It is the floating citadel of Naxxramas. Hovering over the Plaguelands, Kel'Thuzad and the minions of the Lich King,
Okay.
they await any hero foolish enough to challenge them. In the comics, it was actually Darian Mograine that went into Naxxramas. In-game, it's heroes of the Alliance and the Horde. Decked out in frost resistance gear, the world showed Arthas that they had grown very, very strong. Even Kel'Thuzad was defeated, but not completely destroyed, as the greed of heroes would see his phylactery survive, and he would return with Naxxramas during Wrath of the Lich King. I really wonder how many are going to be able to conquer Naxxramas this time around, maybe even obtain the Corrupted Ashbringer. time will tell. But this is the major background and story that you're going to find within Classic Warcraft. Now, of course, there are going to be many more smaller stories that play out, but talking about all of them would take us all day long. Instead, I'll post a list of quests that I would recommend to check out in the description
Time
down
for a
below. By all
ban.
means, let me know.
1 second, I see a scammer. I have identified a scammer. And I'm going to ban them. 1 second. Oh, all right. Start it. Let me just. Okay.
Your recommendations in the comments as well, and I'll add them to the list. There's also going to be a playlist with videos that I've done in the past covering events.
Okay, so he covered the events leading to World of Warcraft Classic, but what I actually want is the chronological history of Azeroth. Chronological, the story of Warcraft. Okay. Lore of World of Warcraft, but this is not a full one. Old Azeroth Lord. To relax to. Complete history. I want it in chronological order, like as it happened from the beginning of time to what we have today. And I know that it exists because I've listened to it before. Ultimate Guide to Playing World of Warcraft chronologically. History of World of Warcraft explained in 1 hour. Okay, you know what? Let's start here.
World of Warcraft is one of the most popular.
Origins of the universe, then primordial history. Okay, cool. This is gonna give us an overview of how this whole thing started. So, let's watch this, and then we'll get back into the events. Oh. Hi, Raven.
Hi, Luna. I didn't want to just yell out because you were scared the last time. You know?
Yeah, I would have been scared. Hi,
So I
Raven.
just
Welcome.
sneakily came in and
Say hello to
yeah.
the chat. There's no one in the chat, but you can say hello anyways.
Hello, chat. Hello. Maybe there's someone listening we don't know.
There could be, yeah.
Would you mind sharing me your video so that I can?
Actually,
be in
I've
the-
already watched one video. It was about kind of like the lore of all the races and stuff, everything that you're gonna find in
That's good,
World of
yeah.
Warcraft Classic. But I wanted something from the start, like the
Yeah,
time
sure.
the time has begun. The universe is created. You know what I mean? Like when I mean from the start, I mean Big Bang and then everything from
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
You know?
That's good. That's good. I don't mind. I will play Gothic on the side because I'm almost done with the second
I'm
game.
sharing to you. It's on a vertical screen that I have.
It doesn't matter.
So it's
I
gonna
don't-
be a
I don't
bit
mind,
like
it's
it's a bit weird. I'm gonna kind of rearrange my stuff
It's fine. It's fine. I
at
don't
a
mind.
certain stage, but no, yeah.
This way,
okay.
I can even better manage it to have it open with the chat. You know.
Okay. I'm just gonna run to the bathroom, and I'll be right back.
Okay, I think this is fine now.
I'm back. Oh my God,
Welcome.
Raven. You know what happened?
Yes.
My
What?
eyebrows are healing finally.
That is wonderful.
It didn't take that long. Honestly, I didn't cut my eyebrows that much. But yeah, for those of you who don't know, I got a new epilator that I kind of like wanted to shape my eyebrows, and I ended up removing my epidermis.
Very good. Very, very good.
Very good. All right. So, let's do this. I'm playing the video. We'll probably listen to this video, and then after this video I'm gonna go because I actually don't have that much time today. I woke up at 11 today, Raven. I slept. I actually fucking slept. Like,
That's amazing. I do it too, so that's great. I love it.
yeah, but that also means I
Left.
haven't done anything before the stream, so I have to clean the house, pack our stuff, do my makeup with fucking special effects prosthetics for the Halloween costume. All before
interesting.
4 o'clock.
Will you share your costume with us?
Yes, when I'm done with it, yeah, I'll probably take
Yeah,
it.
wonderful. Good.
It's kind of rudimentary. I'm just going in like a onesie, and then like I also have like a glowing mask. But then under the mask, I want to do like a bit of prosthetic with blood and stuff.
Sounds good.
And successful fantasy worlds of all time. And a significant reason for this success is
Do you
the
hear it
lore
okay?
and the storytelling
Yeah.
within the game.
Okay.
In fact, the world is so full of that lore that sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming.
It is.
So for that reason, the aim of this video is to provide a summary of the lore behind the World of Warcraft up to the beginning of the World Soul Saga. We'll cover stories from the origins of the universe, the Great Sundering, and the War of the Ancients, all the way to significant events like the fall of the Lich King and the rediscovery of the Dragon Isles. So sit back, grab a pint of Thunderbrew Stout,
Hell
and
yeah.
get ready for a summary of the
have
lore
a pint
of
of
World of
coffee.
Warcraft. For many of us, the story of World of Warcraft begins in the 25th year on the universe's timeline, when us adventurers were unleashed across Azeroth. For others, it started on the very first year of the timeline, when the Orcish Horde travelled through the Dark Portal and raided the Kingdom of Stormwind. However, as we know, this wasn't the beginning of the Warcraft story. With the timeline split into two sections, the period of time before the Dark Portal and then the period after the Dark Portal, there are hundreds of thousands of years of lore, predating the modern events that us adventurers have experienced. So, on that note, let's start at the very beginning, the origins
Thank
of the
you.
universe.
That's what I wanted.
The Warcraft universe can be explained using this.
Step 1, universe begins. Step 2.
Oh, this is actually a wonderful graphic he has there.
Yeah,
It
I know.
shows
I saw it before. It's the combination of the forces in World of Warcraft: the light, the shadow, death, disorder, fell, and order. Arcane.
Yeah.
There's somewhere there. Yeah.
Diagram, which illustrates all cosmic forces and the entities born from them within the game. Here we need to focus on two primary energies, the light and the void. Initially, light expanded throughout the endless universe. As it spread, pockets of nothingness formed, giving rise to its opposite, the void, which sought to consume the light. Their cosmic battle caused catastrophic explosions, leading to the formation of the Warcraft universe, the Great Dark Beyond. As these energies clashed, matter merged into primordial worlds. The most unstable of these energies created the Twisting Nether, an astral dimension linked to the Great Dark Beyond, but existing outside of the physical universe. Alongside this, shards of light scattered across the Great Dark Beyond and spread life across these newly formed planets. Some of the first lifeforms created were elemental beings of fire, water, earth, and air. Occasionally, light shards formed powerful beings like the Naru, who used holy magic to nurture life. And even more extraordinary, the light would coalesce into beings known as the Titans, whose spirits, called world souls, formed within the cores of certain planets. These titans slumbered for ages, their energies spreading across their planets. Some of these titans eventually awoke as celestial beings, with the first, Amanthal, driven by a belief that more of his kind existed. He searched the Great Dark Beyond and successfully found other titan world souls. Once more titans had risen from their slumbering state, together they formed the Pantheon, a group of titans dedicated to shaping worlds, overseeing the universe, and seeking out more titan world souls. However, as we know, where there is light, there is also darkness. From the very moment the cosmos began, dark spirits known as the Void Lords sought to twist reality into eternal torment. Envious of the Pantheon and their abilities, the Void Lords aimed to corrupt the Titan. Unable to manifest physically in the Great Dark Beyond, their energies warped some of the new life forms throughout the universe. Targeting slumbering Titans, the Void Lords hurled dark creatures across the universe, hoping to hit a world soul. These creatures became known as the Old Gods. The Titans were aware of these void energies, but not of the Void Lords or the Old Gods, and they were more focused on a more important and sinister threat forming in the universe, the demons in the Twisting Nether, who were set on destroying all life. These demons, fueled by their furious passions, recklessly explored their powers. Many indulged in fell magic, breaching the physical universe and wreaking havoc on mortal worlds. These demons took various forms, from two-headed void hounds to monstrous infernals, mindless fusions of matter and fell energy. Among the more cunning demons were the Nathrazim, also known as Dreadlords from the Shadowlands, a hellish realm that existed alongside the physical universe, and a place for the souls of the dead who were passed on from the world of the living. We will come back to the Shadowlands later in this tale. These masters of shadow magic.
Okay, I love it. I love how like the new lore gets updated into the original story. That's cool.
The Nathrazim could cross the barrier into the worlds of the Great Dark Beyond, and they began infiltrating mortal societies, sowing discord and transforming innocents into demons. The Pantheon, aware of these demonic invasions, feared that they would interfere with their mission to find and awaken other world souls, so they sent their greatest warrior, Sargeras, to purge the universe of demonic influence as he vowed to cleanse creation of these chaotic beings. Sargeras ventured into the Great Dark, witnessing civilizations destroyed and inhabitants turned into the aberrations by the Twisting Nether. Despite their vast numbers, the disorganized demons were no match for the Titan, and he slaughtered countless foes on his divine mission. He discovered some demons wield.
He is very important to the Legion remix story, by the way. So if you guys ever come to the World of Warcraft live streams, that's about him.
Void energies, revealing the existence of the Void Lords and the corruption they were capable of. Troubled by this news, he continued on with his war, allowing the Pantheon to continue their search for nascent titans. Realizing demons were reborn in the Twisting Nether after death, Sargeras created the prison Mardum to contain them permanently. With Agramar's assistance, they fought demons for millennia. Sargeras discovered a world consumed by void energies, where old gods had corrupted a slumbering titan. Learning from the Nathrazim, the Void Lords aimed to corrupt the titan into an unstoppable force. Sargeras, in fear and rage, destroyed the world, and the nascent titan within it, to prevent its corruption. Returning to the Pantheon, Sargeras faced criticism for his drastic actions. They believed the titan could have been saved, but Sargeras, fearing void corruption, suggested that destroying all creation to stop the Void Lords was the only answer. Even Agramar, who had been helping him, opposed him, urging a different solution. Feeling betrayed by the other titans, Sargeras left the Pantheon, choosing a path of destruction to save the universe from the void. Azeroth's world soul began to develop, and elemental spirits of fire, earth, air and water waged apocalyptic battles on its surface. Each element was ruled by a powerful lord, Alakia, Ragnaros, Therazane and Neptulon, who all struggled for dominance in a chaotic cycle. The old gods, Yasharaj.
This is why I love playing the shaman. Because you're dealing with all these like elemental fundamental sources when playing the shaman, and Neptulon actually comes up in the shaman order hall quest, and it's really cool. It's really cool.
Cthulhu, Yogg-Saron and N'Zoth arrived on the planet and corrupted Azeroth. They set about their task by creating the Faceless Ones and the Akia. They built the Black Empire and enslaved the Elemental Lords, causing endless suffering on the planet while aiming to corrupt Azeroth's slumbering world soul. To combat this corruption, the Pantheon created Titan-forged constructs known as the Keepers to restore the order. Amanthal empowered the High Keeper Ra and Keeper Odin. Khaz'goroth gave his skills to the Keeper Arcadus. Golganith granted Storm Dominion to Keepers Thorium and Hodia. Ionar gave Keeper Freyr control of Azeroth's flora and fauna. Norganon shared his intellect with Keepers Lokin and Mimiron, and Agramar imparted strength and courage to the Keeper Tyr, the greatest warrior among them. Together they crafted the Forge of Wills and the Forge of Origination to stabilize Azeroth, creating new life forms and reshaping the world. The Keepers then used the forges to create the Titan Forged, and with their new armies they launched a successful campaign against the Old Gods and their minion. The Keepers and the Titan Forged launched a successful campaign against the Old Gods and their minions, imprisoning the Elemental Lords. But when the Titans attacked Yasharaj, they discovered a grim fact. Aman'Thul reached down through the skies of Azeroth and heaved the Old God, Yasharaj, from the planet. But by doing so, he inadvertently ripped open a wound in Azeroth's surface, and the World Soul's arcane lifeblood flowed to the surface. It was then that the Pantheon realised that the Old Gods had embedded themselves so deep that they could not be slain without destroying Azeroth itself, and instead they resolved to imprison the remaining 3 Old Gods, rather than killing them outright. Once the Old Gods had been imprisoned, together they managed to stabilise Azeroth's wound, transforming it into the Well of Eternity, a lake of scintillating arcane energies and limitless power.
That was the part I was missing from the story. Okay, so basically, the Old Gods have tried to take the soul of Azeroth, its world soul, and the keepers of the Titan of Azeroth, of its soul, have imprisoned them, and the wound that they have inflicted has created the Well of Eternity. Oh, I didn't know that. That's really interesting. I love the little spin on the Greek Titan legends, and then like the little bit of the little bit of taking like of different mythologies and throwing them in, like the Titans of the Greeks. Then you have the Norse gods and all that. It's kind of cool, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I like it as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Little anecdotes, little references and similarities.
I love it because like I think in our like Western Titanic legends, it was the very same thing, like the gods who were the spawn of the old gods defeated the old gods, and the old gods became places on Earth, like they became mountains and seas and stuff like that.
Accelerate growth of life on the planet's surface. Though the Black Empire had been defeated, its corruption left lasting scars. The Keepers continued their quest to help Azeroth and created various Titan-forged beings and set up new sanctuaries, including Ulduar and Uldum, to maintain balance and oversee the world. Despite their best efforts, not all life forming on the planet would be peaceful. A proto-dragon named Galakrond became a threat. Galakrond was defeated by the forces of other proto-dragons, and the Titan Keepers chose 5 of them to empower Alexstrasza, Neltharion, Malygos, Ysera and Nosdormu, turning them into the dragon aspects to protect Azeroth. They were supported by the newly created Dragonflights, and they settled in Wyrmrest Temple. The Keeper Odin, angered by being sidelined, created the Halls of Valor and the Valkyr. He then created an elite of Rykor army.
Another important part of the raiding in the Legion Remix. So when we jump into the Legion Remix live streams, the Halls of Valor, that's exactly what this guy is talking about now.
To protect Azeroth, but by doing so created deep resentment and further conflicts. After severing ties with the Pantheon, Sargeras isolated himself, consumed by the fear that the Void Lords had corrupted other Titan world souls. He concluded that the universe was irredeemable, and resolved to destroy all creation to stop the Void Lords, beginning the Burning Crusade. Sargeras sought power from Mardum, the plane of banishment that he had created millennia ago, filled with fell energy and demons. By shattering Mardum's prison, he unleashed fell energy that transformed him into a being of pure hatred. This act tore the veil between the Great Dark Beyond and the twisting Nether, flooding the universe with demons. These demons, united under Sargeras, formed the Burning Legion. The Legion's first target was a Titan-shaped world, and they devastated its civilizations. When the Constellar, overseeing the world, arrived, Sargeras killed it. Agramar confronted Sargeras, demanding an explanation. Sargeras declared his plan to purify the universe through complete destruction. Agramar challenged him, but despite fighting valiantly, he was outmatched by Sargeras' fell magic. Wounded, Agramar retreated to the Pantheon. The Titans, shocked by Sargeras' betrayal, prepared to confront him. The Pantheon and Sargeras battled near a planet named Nihilum, and they struggled against Sargeras' fell-fueled might. Sargeras then unleashed a fell storm to destroy them, but Norgannon used arcane energies to protect the Titans' spirits, launching their spirits into the great dark beyond as their physical forms were obliterated by Sargeras. Believing he had won, Sargeras turned his attention to finding and conquering Azeroth before the Void Lords could. After defeating the Pantheon, Sargeras sought to strengthen his demon army, realizing their lack of strategic thinking as a weakness. To address this issue, he
that was the story at the end of Legion of the dragon aspects returning into the world, no? But why did it take them so long to do the dragon flight? Because they returned at the end of Legion, yeah? No.
Who?
The dragon aspects.
The who?
Oh no, sorry, the Titans. No, sorry. Okay, I'm lost.
Yeah, that they returned, because they were imprisoned by us.
Yeah, like Ysera and Odin.
No, Ysera is these are
Agrama.
Titan keepers.
Okay.
Agrama was a Titan.
Okay.
Ysera is a dragon aspect.
Okay.
And Odin is a Titan keeper.
Okay. I'm confused.
Identified a race known as the Eridar, who were native to the planet Argus as ideal beings to be his commanders. The Eridar, led by Archimonde, Kil'jaeden, and Velen, were hyper-intelligent beings. Sargeras, disguised as a radiant being, promised them knowledge, power, and the chance to transform worlds into peaceful sanctuaries. Archimonde and Kil'jaeden were enticed, but Velen, using an ancient artifact, foresaw a horrific future where the Eridar became demonic. Velen warned his peers, but they dismissed his concerns and accepted Sargeras' offer. Pretending to agree, Velen secretly planned an escape. The benevolent Naru aided Velen and his followers who fled Argus, and with that they became the Draenei, or the Exiled Ones. Sargeras corrupted the remaining Eridar, transforming them into demons. Kil'jaeden, now the Deceiver, manipulated mortal civilizations, while Archimonde, the Defiler, led the Legion's forces. Under their command, the Legion grew, recruiting new demonic races from the Twisting Nether and other new worlds. With his strengthened forces, Sargeras renewed his burning crusade, leading the Legion to destroy countless worlds and civilizations over the ages. Back on Azeroth, the Keeper Loken, who had now been corrupted by the influence of Yogg-Saron, helped the old god spread the curse of flesh among the Titanforged and waged war against his fellow Keepers. He sabotaged Mimiron and betrayed the other Keepers, leading to the exile of the Titanforged and then the rise of new mortal races on the continent of Kalimdor on Azeroth. One of those first early races would be the Trolls. The Trolls settled in southern Kalimdor and established Zuldazar around 16,000 years ago. Over time, various tribes, such as the Gurubashi and the Amani, emerged. Near Zandalar.
Okay, Raven, I need to fact check a couple of things. I just want to make sure that I'm following this right, because I really want to be good, be knowledgeable in this story. So, okay, the Titans, but who are the Titans? Like the Argamar, are they their own planets or what? Because Azeroth is a Titan as well, yeah.
Yeah, they were planets.
They were
the
planets.
Titan, the planet souls, the world souls. Are Titans, yeah.
Okay. They banished the old gods from Azeroth and they created the Well of Eternity in imprisoning them.
Where they ripped out one of them, created the Well of Eternity, and imprisoned the other ones.
Yes. Because the old gods wanted to consume the soul of Azeroth, who is sleeping.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
So they're all banding around Azeroth and they're like, our little sister, we will protect you, yeah? Kind of a vibe. Okay, cool. Then Sargeras came because Sargeras hates the void. So he banded nether creatures known as demons into a legion army who are waging war against all creation and he wants to destroy all creation so that the void cannot devour it. Okay, very twisted logic, but okay. So then the Titans have banded against Sargeras, but he destroyed their physical forms. So their physical forms is the planets that they used to represent, yeah?
No, they have like
bodies.
Human-like bodies, yeah.
Okay. Does Azeroth have a human-like body?
No, not that we know.
Okay.
But since the trolls are native people of Azeroth, I assume that Azeroth will have features of trolls.
I would love that. That would be so cool.
There's an image of how Azeroth would
where
look
did
like
the
in
humans come from?
Titan constructs. We the humans, as the dwarves and the gnomes, were Titan constructs who were cursed by Yogg-Saron with the curse of the flesh.
Oh.
So the Titan construct turned into the Vrykul, the big humans.
All right.
And they got smaller. Like the children got smaller and sick and smaller, and these small sick children became the humans.
Oh, that's cool. That's a very cool twist on the lore of the sons and daughters of giants and angels. So there are these old legends from the times when Christianity started to mix with pagan legends about the sons of angels. So like the Nihilum angels had sons with human daughters, and they became the giants, and they were hunted by the humans in like biblical stories. It's a cool little spin on the real life mythology. Wow, I love it.
A forbidden mound led to the awakening of a Cathraxi general known as Kithix, who attacked the trolls with an ancient Black Empire race, the Akia. In response, the trolls formed the Empire of Zul and drove the Akia away, though they continued to remain ever vigilant against future threats. Around 15,000 years ago, the Mogu, protectors of the...
Honestly, I can't wait for the... I have a feeling like at the end of World Soul Saga, Azeroth's personhood is going to be unveiled. And I can't wait for the human's reaction when she's going to become a troll.
What?
Right. Also, I can't wait for the Blood Owl's reaction to that.
The Vale of Eternal Blossoms faced internal strife due to the Curse of Flesh. Lei Shen, known as the Thunder King, unified them through fear and power, creating a brutal empire and enslaving the Pandaren. After Lei Shen's fall, the Mogu Empire began to decline. The final emperor, Lao Fei, was eventually overthrown.
Honestly, when the Pandaria DLC came out, I thought like the Pandaria lore was so separated from the rest of the World of Warcraft lore. Like it felt like a little bit like we're starting a completely new story kind of thing. But I feel like now, from a time perspective, it fits in rather well into the lore, no?
Yeah, it does. It does.
Thrown by a Pandaren-led rebellion, ushering a new era of peace for those races. The bovine race, the Yorngol, guided by Cenarius, were captured and transformed by the Mogu. They later rebelled and, divided by their past, migrated to new lands. Those who remained in the Vale continued as Yorngol, while those who moved to central Kalimdor became known as the Tauren, and those who moved near the Forge of Wills became the Tonka.
Okay, so the Yongul from Pandaria became the Taurens.
And the Tonka from Northrend.
Cool! I didn't know that. This is something I actually missed. Okay, so the Taurens were originally from Pandaria. Wow,
yeah,
that's a great way to introduce it.
And also, the High Mountain Tauren are also from there. Like the entire Tauren race is from there.
Yeah. Cool, that's actually incredible. I love
Over
that.
time, their ancient connections and shared heritage gradually faded. Before the conflicts with the Akia, troll tribes like the Gurubashi and the Umani fought over Kalimdor's vast territories. Among these tribes, dark trolls dwelled in the shadows beneath Mount Hyjal. Eventually they would evolve into night elves after discovering and settling by the Well of Eternity. The energy of the well transformed them into immortal beings with advanced magical abilities. The night elves built their society around the well, with their capital,
This is very relevant to the Suramar campaign that me and Raven were playing on our live stream together, and which we will continue on Wednesday? Are we continuing on Wednesday? Huh?
I think Wednesday's okay, yeah.
Hell yeah. Alright.
Undris flourishing under the guidance of the demigod Cenarius. Under Queen Ajara's rule, the Night Elves expanded their empire and constructed grand cities. As the Night Elves became more obsessed with magic, their society grew xenophobic and hostile. They managed to suppress troll incursions through their magical superiority. The Night Elves' deepening obsession with the Well of Eternity led to magical disturbances that caught the attention of Sargeras himself, and the Burning Legion began preparing to invade Azeroth. The Highborn, a caste of Night Elves led by Queen Azshara, secretly allied with Sargeras, who promised them power in exchange for summoning demons. Queen Azshara used the Well of Eternity to bring forth the Burning Legion, and she summoned them to Azeroth. Led by Manaroth and Archimonde, the Burning Legion arrived and began to ravage the Night Elf Empire and Azeroth, starting the War of the Ancients. A resistance formed, led by Lord Ravencrest, Malfurion Stormrage, Illidan Stormrage, and Tyrande Whisperwind. Malfurion's druidic powers, Illidan's bravery, and Tyranda's leadership made significant impacts against the Burning Legion. They sought aid from Cenarius and the Wild Gods of Azeroth, but time was short. To help their forces in the War of the Ancients, Malfurion also sought help from the Dragon Aspects. Alexstrasza and the others met at Wyrmrest Temple, where Neltharion proposed using the Dragon Soul, an enchanted artifact with the power of the dragons infused into it, to defeat the Burning Legion. Unbeknownst to the others, Neltharion was corrupted by the Old Gods, and using his weapon, later renamed as the Demon Soul, led him to betray his allies. He decimated the Burning Legion, but then also attacked the Night Elves and the dragons, nearly wiping out the Blue Dragonflight entirely and forcing the Night Elves to retreat. Neltharion, now going by the name of Deathwing, fled, leaving his Black Dragonflight nearly extinct. Deathwing's betrayal during the War of the Ancient devastated the Night Elves, and then Illidan's mysterious disappearance only added to their despair. In reality, Illidan had deserted the Resistance. His rivalry with his brother Malfurion.
Neltharion is a very relevant to the story of Cataclysm, which is actually very relevant to the class of the shamans because the elemental's powers across Azeroth got completely disturbed.
Rejection by Tyrande Whisperwind and manipulation by the Satyr, Xavius, drove him to seek power with the Legion. Illidan turned to Sargeras, who granted him great power, marked him with fell tattoos, and burned out his eyes. Armed with these new abilities, Illidan set out to
And we also have a dungeon, Neltarian's Lair in Legion Remix, which we do sometimes on the live stream. So it's his lair.
Steal the Dragon Soul. Illidan succeeded, delivering the Dragon Soul to the Highborn, who used it to open a gateway for Sargeras to enter Azeroth. Despite claiming he joined the Legion to understand and defeat them, Illidan's betrayal and ambition forever tainted his legacy. Highborn sorcerers in Suramar, led by the Grand Magistrix, discovered the Legion's plan to use Suramar as a base. They sabotaged the Legion, protected Suramar with the Nightwell, and then became the Nightborn. Under their new leader, Jared Shadowsong, the Night Elf Resistance allied with other races and launched a desperate assault.
That's the campaign we're doing on the live stream.
On Zinajari, Malfurion, Tyrande and their allies destroyed the Well of Eternity to drive back Sargeras. The destruction of the Well of Eternity caused a cataclysmic explosion known as the Great Sundering, and it completely destroyed the supercontinent known as Kalimdor. The continent fragmented into several landmasses and created the Maelstrom at the centre of Azeroth. The Great Sundering destroyed the Well of Eternity, leading the Night Elves to abandon arcane magic. They retreated to Mount Hyjal, where Illidan Stormrage created a new well using remnants of the old one. Malfurion Stormrage opposed him, fearing it could invite the Legion back, and with Cenarius' help, they imprisoned Illidan. The Dragon Aspects, Alexstrasza, Ysera, and Nosdormu sealed the new well with the World Tree Nordrassil, granting the Night Elves immortality and protection from the demons. The Night Elves, under Tyrande Whisperwind and Malfurion Stormrage, later faced a resurgence of demons that had been left on Azeroth after the War of the Ancients. They were known as the Satyrs, and they were led by Zharlan the Feared. Chandris Feathermoon proposed using druids in battle to defeat the Satyrs, and this led to a successful counterattack. However, a faction of these druids turned into uncontrollable Worgen. Malfurion established the Cenarian Circle to manage druidic practices and contain the Worgen threat. The combined efforts of the Night Elves led to the defeat of the Satyrs. The Highborn, unable to resist arcane magic, were exiled by the Night Elves. Led by Dathramar Sunstrider, they settled in the Eastern Kingdoms, discovering the Sunwell and founding the Kingdom of Quel'Thalas. Their new civilization, though prosperous, faced threats from hostile trolls. The Highborn in Northrend, struggling without arcane power, stole crystallization techniques from blue dragons. Their experiments backfired, crystallizing Moonsong Forest and creating the haunted Crystalsong Forest. The druids of the Cenarian Circle, led by Fandral Staghelm, planted world trees to combat old god corruption. Andrasil in Northrend initially thrived, but was corrupted by Yogg-Saron, leading to its destruction and the creation of the Emerald Nightmare. Sometime later, the exiled mechagnomes living in Alderman transformed into the gnomes by...
Okay, can you tell me about the creation of the Emerald Nightmare? He mentioned it, but I didn't fully get it. How did it happen?
I have no clue myself, but I just know that it was Old God doing, and Xavier's helped them.
Okay. Well, I'm sure that one of the 74 videos on the playlist is gonna explain it.
The curse of flash,
Sure, yeah.
and they left the halls of Alderman and established settlements in Doom Morrow. They developed a society centered around technology and began losing their memory of their ancient origins. 200 years after this, human tribes in the Eastern Kingdoms unified under the warlord Thoradin to form the nation of Arathor, establishing a capital in Lordaeron known as Strom. Thoradin fortified the kingdom and repelled troll incursions, helping the elves of Quel'Thalas secure a period of peace in the northern lands. The Amani trolls, aided by the Zandalari and the Loa, launched several attacks on the High Elves. Arathor, led by Thoradin, intervened, and using a strategic trap and magical support, they decisively defeated the trolls, marking a new era of cooperation between Quel'Thalas and Arathor. Following Thoradin's reign, Arathor expanded into new territories, including Lordaeron and Gilneas. The city of Dalaran emerged as a major hub of magical study for the humans and eventually became an autonomous city-state facing tensions over its magic use. Dalaran, under threat from demonic infiltration, formed the Council of Tirisfal to combat these threats secretly. The council empowered a chosen champion known as the Guardian to protect Azeroth from demons, with Aladai being the first Guardian. Aladai, the first Guardian of Tirisfal, successfully defended against a demonic invasion and set a precedent for future Guardians. This system ensured a period of stability and peace, while Dalaran continued as a centre of arcane knowledge. Further south, in Alderman, the last mechagnome activated the hibernation chambers, awakening the Earthen, who had been transformed into the dwarves after facing the Curse of Flesh. Settling in Doom Morrow, they established Ironforge and formed an alliance with the gnomes, exchanging skills in stoneworking and engineering. 1,000 years later, even more south, the Gurubashi trolls, suffering from famine and the Sundering, summoned Hakar the Soulflayer, who demanded blood sacrifices in return for aid. Led by the Hakari, Gurubashi trolls who worshipped Hakar, the trolls expanded their territory, but by doing so, they caught the attention of the Zandalari trolls. The Zandalari allied with dissenting Gurubashi trolls and they defeated Hakar and his followers Azul Garub. Some fanatical Hakari, known as the Atalai, escaped, continuing their dark rituals in the Swamp of Sorrows, until Ysera sank their temple and stationed dragons to prevent Hakar's return. Back in Kalimdor, a night elven civilization known as the Chandrila were survivors of Queen Azara's regime, and they were living in isolation in a city known as Eldrath. To combat their declining power, Prince Tortheldrin bound a demon, Imulthar, to the city for energy. The arrangement became unsustainable, leading Tortheldrin to kill his people to reduce the strain on the energy gained from the demon. Eldrath fell into decay and was overrun by jungle creatures, leaving the Chandrila considerably weakened. The city would go on to be known as Dire Maul. At the same time, in the Eastern Kingdoms, Arathor was fragmenting as city-states started to emerge. Kultiras prospered as a naval power, while Gilneas built strong land forces in the east. Gilneas and Alterac fortified borders, forging alliances with the dwarves and the gnomes. Strom's nobles founded a northern state known as Lordaeron, which grew to be a spiritual centre. The remnants of Strom headed south and founded Stormwind. Stromgarde, once grand, became a shadow of its former self, and Arathor's unity was deteriorating as the Seven Kingdoms were forming. 100 years later in Kalimdor, Torrent Shaman accidentally awoke Princess Theradrus in their sacred lands, causing ecological devastation, transforming their sacred lands of Mashan Shi into Desolus. Her union with Zeta produced the Centaur, a terrifying race of half-human, half-horse who terrorized the center of Kalimdor. Zeta was killed by his offspring, and Theradrus buried his spirit in Maradon. The The Centaur's expansion led to conflict with the Tauren, resulting in a period of prolonged warfare. Another 100 years later, the War of the Shifting Sands begins. The Karaji, an ancient insectoid race, were awakened by Archdruid Fandral Staghelm's efforts in Silithus. The Karaji, led by the old god Cthulhu, attacked the Night Elves, initiating the War of the Shifting Sands. Despite fierce battles across Kalimdor, the Karaji were sealed within Anchorage by the Scarab Wall. Guardian Aegwyn, a powerful protector of Azeroth, distrusted the Tirisfal Council and isolated herself in Suramar. She defeated Sargeras' avatar, but unknowingly absorbed a fragment of him. She sealed the demon's remains in Suramar's ruins, hoping to contain the evil indefinitely. Aegwyn then built the Tower of Karazhan and used it to isolate herself. Her paranoia and isolation led the council.
We were in the Tower of Karazhan when I was doing both the Mage and the Warlock Order Hall questline.
To form the Tiris Guard to neutralize her. Aegwyn sealed herself away in Karazhan, maintaining her powers in secret. 300 years later, in Ironforge, tensions between the Bronzebeards, the Wildhammers and the Dark Iron clans erupted into civil war after High King Modimus Anvilmar's death. The Bronzebeards triumphed, forcing the others to flee. Thorisan's failed revenge attack led to the summoning of Ragnaros, causing massive destruction. The surviving clans formed an alliance, marking the Thandor span as a symbol of their unity. In the 100th year before the Dark Portal, the Kingdom of Stormwind, despite Gnoll raids, was prospering and became a haven for displaced people in the southern eastern kingdoms. King Baratheon Rin defeated the Gnoll Packlord Garfang, ending the threat and securing Stormwind's independence. The victory reinforced Stormwind's self-reliance and ensured future stability. Going back to the story of the Last Guardian, Aegwyn, hiding from the Tirisfal Council, fell in love with Nyla Saran and had a son, named Medivh, with immense magical potential and a hidden Sargeras curse. Sometime later, Medivh's powers erupted, killing his father and putting himself into a coma. He later awakened to find his friends in prominent positions, unaware of the dark influence within him. In the moments leading up to the Dark Portal, on a distant planet known as Draenor, the normally honourable race known as the Orcs, who had been peacefully coexisting with the Draenei, began to slowly succumb to the manipulations of Sargeras and his Burning Legion. An outcast Orc known as Gul'dan accepted fell magic from Kil'jaeden and became the first Orc Warlock. Deceived by Kil'jaeden, one of their prominent leaders, an Orc known as Ner'zhul.
Gul'dan is very important to the Legion remix story because he's the one who actually summoned the Legion and started the expansion. It was all in the cinematic that we went through on the live stream.
Led the Orc clans to unite against the Draenei, forming the Orcish Horde. Under Gul'dan's influence, the mighty warrior Blackhand became the Horde's war chief, and many Orcs drank the blood of the demon Manaroth, deepening their corruption. As Draenor decayed, the Orcs, facing starvation and internal conflict, were eventually guided by Medivh to invade the plentiful new world of Azeroth. Meanwhile, back on Azeroth, tensions with the Gurubashi tribes and the Kingdom of Stormwind escalated. The humans were victorious with the use of Medivh's uncontrollable power. The Gurubashi's siege on Stormwind ended with King Baratheon's death, and Medivh's dark magic saved the city but haunted him. Returning to Karazhan, Medivh, influenced by Sargeras, focused on the planet of Draenor, revealing himself to the Orcish warlock known as Gul'dan and facilitating the construction of the Dark Portal, a portal that would link the two worlds, allowing the Orcs to cross the barrier. The combined forces of Gul'dan and Medivh...
Okay, so was Medivh influenced by Sargeras? Raven? Raven, are you there?
Yes, he was. Sorry, I'm in the kitchen.
Oh, sorry, pardon.
I was just hoping
Sorry,
you weren't asking me something. I'm gonna change my microphone,
I
maybe.
can chance it. Never. All right. Okay. So Sargeras has whispered into Medivh's ear, influenced him to build the dark portal that linked Draenor with Azeroth, and that's how the orcs came to Azeroth.
Allowed the Dark Portal to open, and the Orcs poured into Azeroth, initiating the First War. The Orcish war chief Blackhand led the Horde's assault on Stormwind, which fell after a brutal siege, marking the end of the First War. Orgrim Doomhammer became the new war chief, vowing to cleanse the Horde of fell magic amidst internal turmoil. 4 years after the Dark Portal's opening, the Second War begins. The Alliance of Lordaeron formed with Anduin Lothar as Supreme Commander, leading to the creation of the Order of the Silver Hand. Orgrim Doomhammer led the Horde into Khazmodan, securing resources but facing heavy resistance. The Horde launched a surprise naval invasion, landing in Hillsbrad foothills, while the Alliance, led by Turelion and Uther, mounted a defence. The Horde captured Alexstrasza, using her to create dragon servants. Zul'jin, leading the Amani trolls, guided the Horde through the hinterlands. The battle at Hillsbrad foothills was fierce, with the Alliance's paladins playing a crucial role. Despite Orgrim Doomhammer killing Lothar, the Alliance, inspired by his legacy, counterattacked, capturing Orgrim and eventually pushed them back. The Second War would come to an end after the Horde were pushed back to the Black Morass and the Dark Portal was destroyed. The remaining Orc forces scattered across the world and the Alliance celebrated victory, but the war's scars remained. The Alliance focused on rebuilding after the Second War, and they established internment camps for the remaining Orcs. The demon Kil'jaeden, seeing internal conflict as a flaw, created the Lich King from Ner'zhul to build an undead army. The Lich King, bound to the Frozen Throne, spread a necromantic plague, planning revenge. The human kingdoms began recovering from the Second War. King Varian Wrynn rebuilt Stormwind, and Prince Arthas trained as a paladin in Lordaeron. The Lich King's conquest of Northrend faced Nerubian resistance, but ended with total domination of the area. The Lich King went on to corrupt the powerful mage of Lordaeron, Kel'Thuzad, and together they began plotting world domination. At the same time, a young orc named Thrall escaped his gladiator life and founded a new horde, overthrowing internment camps and seeking a new homeland. The alliance was weakened and internment camps closed. The Lich King, exploiting this new alliance disarray, unleashed his plague of undeath. Medivh, appearing as the prophet, warned of a demonic invasion, urging unity between the Horde and the alliance. In the Kingdom of Lordaeron, the plague of undeath, spread by Kel'Thuzad and his cult of the damned, devastated the population. Despite early efforts by local priests, healing methods proved ineffective. King Menethil II prioritised the Horde threat over the mysterious plague. The plague's final stage turned victims into undead servants of the Lich King, creating an army called the Scourge, which was laying waste to Lordaeron. Medivh tried to warn Lordaeron's citizens about the unstoppable spread of the plague and urged them to flee to Kalimdor to escape the coming chaos. His warnings were largely ignored by key figures like King Menethil II and Archmage Antonidas. However, Medivh found unexpected hope with the Orcs, who would play a crucial role in resisting the coming threats. Warchief Thrall, leading the new horde, received a vision from Medivh about a demonic invasion and was advised to journey to Kalimdor. Trusting the elemental spirits that guided him, Thrall set out across the Great Sea in search of a new homeland, despite skepticism from his people. Prince Arthas and sorceress Jaina Proudmoore were sent by King Menethil II to investigate the plague in Lordaeron. They discovered that the plague, spread by Kel'Thuzad, turned victims into the undead. Arthas was then manipulated by the Lich King's dreadlords to confront Mal'Ganis in Stratholme. Upon arriving at Stratholme, Arthas ordered a purge to prevent the spread of undeath. Despite opposition from Uther the Lightbringer and Jaina Proudmoore, his decision led to the mass slaughter of the city's inhabitants, leaving it in ruins. Jaina and Uther parted ways with Arthas, who was no longer the prince they once knew. The prince's descent into darkness was sealed when he sought out Frostmourne, a cursed rune blade. The Lich King manipulated events to guide Arthas to the blade's location in Northrend. Despite warnings from Muradin Bronzebeard, Arthas claimed Frostmourne, killing Muradin in the process, and the blade consumed Arthas's humanity. Embracing the blade's dark power, Arthas became a Death Knight under the Lich King's command. Meanwhile, Thrall and Horde, having seized ships from Southshore, faced a storm that scattered their fleets. They sought refuge on islands in the Great Sea, allied with the Darkspear Trolls, and fought both the Alliance and Murlocs. After repairing their ships, they continued their journey westward to Kalimdor. Arthas, now a Death Knight, returned to Lordaeron and killed his own father, before unleashing the Scourge on the land. The Third War of Azeroth began as the undead overran Lordaeron, with the Alliance forces struggling to fend off the relentless assaults. Arthas' deep knowledge of his homeland and necromantic powers made him a formidable force, leading to the Kingdom of Lordaeron's fall and the rise of a new dark era for the land. During the Third War, the gnomes contributed advanced weaponry to the Alliance, but sent few soldiers, raising suspicion. Unknown to the Alliance, Gnomeregan, the gnomish capital, was under siege by trogs, brutish creatures awakened by the Ironforged dwarves. High Tinker Gelbin Mekatork's defense efforts were insufficient, and the invasion was kept secret to avoid diverting resources from Lordaeron. The world would learn of Gnomeregan's plight and the gnomes' sacrifice later. As the kingdom of Lordaeron fell, the Burning Legion, led by Archimonde the Defiler, aimed to seize the Second Well of Eternity. Archimonde sought the Book of Medivh to create powerful portals, and the Lich King proposed resurrecting Kel'Thuzad to retrieve it. Prince Arthas was tasked with reanimating Kel'Thuzad as a Lich, using arcane energy from Quel'Thalos' Sunwell. Prince Arthas led the Scourge to Quel'Thalos, finding it empty. King Sunstrider and Ranger General Sylvanas Windrunner prepared a defense. Sylvanas fell to Arthas in battle, and he turned her into a banshee. Silvermoon fell,
important.
and the elves retreated to the island of Quel'Danas. Prince Arthas used Frostmourne to freeze the sea, defeating King Sunstrider and corrupting the Sunwell, leaving Quel'Thalos in ruin as the Dead Scar. As the Scourge neared Dalaran, Archmage Antonidas and the Kirin Tor braced for battle. Antonidas, haunted by past defeats, sent Jaina Proudmoore to evacuate civilians while he stayed behind. Jaina eventually sailed to Kalimdor with the survivors, seeking safety and hope. Kel'Thuzad revealed that the Lich King planned to rebel against the Legion. In Dalaran, the Scourge faced fierce resistance, but Prince Arthur seized the Book of Medivh. Antonidas fell in battle, and Kel'Thuzad used the book to open a rift, letting demons into Azeroth. Archimonde arrived, destroying Dalaran, and took control of the Scourge. He then prepared Kalimdor for the Legion's invasion. When they landed in Kalimdor, Thrall allied with the Tauren, ending their conflict with the Centaur, and travelled to Stone Talon Peak to meet Jaina Proudmoore. Jaina's forces in Ashenvale were attacked by Gromash Hellscream and his Warsong clan. Thrall, arriving afterward, ordered the Warsong to build an outpost, but their aggression caused friction with the Night Elves by the deforestation. The Night Elves, led by Tyrande Whisperwind, guarded the World Tree Nordrassil, which shielded the Second Well of Eternity. As the Scourge and the Legion advanced, the Night Elves prepared for a renewed defence. Tyrande found refugees from the Plague in Ashenvale, but also faced attacks by the Warsong, who recklessly cut down their trees. Tyrande's Sentinel forces engaged the Orcs, joined with Cenarius, defeated Gromash drank demon blood, gaining power and becoming the demon Pitlord Manoroth's slave. The Orcs then ravaged Ashenvale, and Gromash defeated Cenarius. With Cenarius dead, Archimonde's invasion of Kalimdor began. His forces faced resistance, but continued advancing. Tichondrius used the Skull of Gul'dan to corrupt Felwood, aiding the Legion's progress to Mount Hyjal. Tyrande awakened Malfurion Stormrage from the Emerald Dream to fight the corruption. Together they freed Illidan Stormrage from imprisonment, despite objections, and discovered that his release led to the death of his guards. Illidan, seeking power to defeat the Legion, consumed the Skull of Gul'dan's power. He killed Tichondrius, hurting the Legion's efforts. Despite this aid, Illidan faced scorn from his brother and Tyrande, and he was banished from the Night Elf lands. Illidan would go on to continue his war against the Legion on his own. 21 years after the events of the Dark Portal, the Legion had reached Mount Hyjal and the Second Well of Eternity. Thousands of Night Elf Sentinels, Druids, and allied forest spirits assembled at the summit. Archimonde, confident of victory, was unaware of Medivh's grand plan. Medivh had urged Thrall, Jaina Proudmoore, Tyrande Whisperwind, and Malfurion Stormrage to unite for Azeroth's sake. Reluctantly, they agreed. Malfurion proposed a risky strategy to defeat Archimonde, using the World Tree Nordrassil's enchantments to create an explosion that could destroy Archimonde and the Legion, at the cost of Night Elf immortality. As the Druids prepared Nordrassil's enchantments, the defenders fought fiercely against the legions. Many fell, but their sacrifice bought crucial time. When Archimonde reached Nordrassil, the Druids unleashed a powerful wave of energy, destroying him and most of the army, putting an end to the Legion's invasion. The surviving defenders pushed back, nearly eradicating the remaining demons and undead.
The Night Elves always face the short end of the stick. Nordrassil got destroyed and Teldrassil got destroyed. Like, can we just stop destroying Night Elves trees, please?
Nope.
Nope. Ain't gonna happen.
Okay, the thing also is, that is something that is not mentioned there. And it will maybe mentioned in the area of Cataclysm.
Okay.
But I want to mention it.
Because it was in Mount Hyjal, right? Nordrassil.
Yeah. It was a smaller tree, but it's still active now.
Yeah.
Teldrassil was created as Nordrassil was, the tree that they just mentioned that got blasted. But since it was without these protections from the dragonflights, it was corrupted.
Oh.
And that is something that we don't know.
Teldrassil got corrupted.
Teldrassil it's a corrupted world tree that we don't know about. It is only known to the people that were in the Emerald Nightmare, to Malfurion actually, because he saw it in the Emerald Nightmare later on.
So Malfurion knows!
He knew later. Between Cataclysm and
oh shit!
Mr. Pandaria.
Drama, what the fuck?
But I think he knew, because it was mentioned that it is corrupted because of the without the protections, you know. Because it was without the protection when it was created. But it might be that was just a little over dramatization, but I don't know. But I think still it is, because this was always like also a reason why Sylvanas, like I thought, for at least, there was one reason why Sylvanas just went so against it and burned it down.
That she burned it down because it was corrupted.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Is that like the redemption arc for Sylvanas?
It might be. There was a new video, but you know what?
I know that the pre-patch video got leaked, and it's about Sylvanas and the Maw rescuing souls, and they're coming to get her.
Yeah, it might be that they use this fact finally, because in the book, as Stormrage, it was mentioned that Teldrassil was corrupted.
Okay.
At least had a potential for corruption. That at least. I'm not sure about the corrupted part, but
okay, that's a way out. And now, like, the Night Elves are gonna have their new home, because their new home is in the Dragon Isles, right?
Yeah. The new home is it's also a world tree, but it was infused by the spirits of the Night Elves that died during the burning of Teldrassil.
Oh my god! I need to do that
you see this in the Shadowlands questline.
I need to do that questline.
In Shadowlands.
Well, the whole thing. Like I will do it on a live stream one day. Like I will do the whole comprehensive story of the elves.
Good luck.
With the campaigns and side quests and everything.
Dead in Kalimdor, Prince Arthas narrowly escaped, retreating with the Scourge to the Eastern Kingdoms. The Horde and the Alliance, now temporarily united, left Mount Hyjal in search of new lands. Tyrande and Malfurion began the difficult task of rebuilding Hyjal. Nordrassil was severely damaged, and the Night Elves lost their immortality and disease immunity. Reconnecting with the Emerald Dream became more challenging for the Druids. Medivh, having ensured Azeroth's temporary safety, but could no longer intervene. His mission was complete. The future of Azeroth now rested with its inhabitants. With that, the last Guardian vanished.
As for me, I came back to ensure that there would be a future. To teach the world that it no longer needed Guardians. The hope for future generations has always resided in mortal hands.
After the Burning Legion's defeat in the Third War, Kil'jaeden's plans were in jeopardy due to the Lich King's rebellion. The Lich King, seeing an opportunity to break free, turned on his Dreadlord overseas and consolidated control over the Scourge. Kil'jaeden sought a new ally in Illidan Stormrage, who had previously allied with the Legion. Illidan, now a demon with the Skull of Gul'dan, was approached by Kil'jaeden, who offered him anything in exchange for destroying the Lich King. Illidan, intent on learning more about the Legion, agreed. He planned to use the Eye of Sargeras, located in the Tomb of Sargeras on the Broken Isles, to strike the Lich King from afar. The Naga, led by Lady Vashj and transformed by the Old Gods, allied with Illidan. Their shared goal was to create global chaos, benefiting both the parties. Illidan and his Naga reached the Broken Isles and secured the Eye of Sargeras, despite a confrontation with Maiev Shadowsong and her Watchers. With the artifact in hand, Illidan aimed to attack the Frozen Throne, but was interrupted by a combined Night Elf and Blood Elf force. Retreating to Draenor, now known as Outland, Illidan faced new challenges. Shadowsong then followed him and managed to capture him, stripping him of his allies and his artifact, and with this, he struggled to regain control. Back in Kalimdor, Tyrande and Malfurion Stormrage worked on rebuilding Nordrassil, while Kael'thas Sunstrider and his Blood Elves allied with Othmar Garithos and the Alliance to reconstruct Dalaran. Kael'thas, facing magic addiction and Garithos' disdain, aligned with Lady Vaj, who offered him freedom from addiction in exchange for joining Illidan. Kael'thas and Lady Vaj freed Illidan from his prison in Outland. Illidan formed an alliance with the Broken and overthrew Magtheridon to create a new army. Kil'jaeden, displeased with Illidan's actions, demanded his return to Azeroth to defeat the Lich King. Illidan complied, leading an invasion of Azeroth through a newly created portal. As Illidan's forces advanced on Icecrown Citadel, Arthas Menethil prepared for his final confrontation. Despite Illidan's powers, Arthas emerged victorious in an epic battle, and he went on to merge with the Lich King at the Frozen Throne, becoming a formidable new entity. Prince Arthas became the Lich King.
Yeah.
In Lordaeron, Sylvanas Windrunner established the Forsaken and took control of the Undercity, the remnants of the city of the fallen Kingdom of Lordaeron after defeating the Dreadlords. Their focus remained on exacting revenge on the Lich King. With Arthas merged with the Lich King, Kel'Thuzad commanded the Scourge. The Order of the Silver Hand, led by Alexandros Mograine, faced internal issues due to Dreadlord manipulation, leading to conflicts between the Argent Dawn and the Scarlet Crusade. After the Third War, the Night Elves faced the loss of their immortality due to the damage of the World Tree Nordrassil. Archdruid Fandral Staghelm proposed planting a new tree, Teldrassil, in Darkshore. Malfurion Stormrage opposed this plan, recalling Andrassil's corruption. Fueled by ambition, Fandral ambushed Malfurion, putting him into a coma and trapping his spirit in the Emerald Dream. With Malfurion incapacitated, Fandral proceeded with planting Teldrassil, leading to the creation of Darnassus. However, the Emerald Nightmare began corrupting Teldrassil, and Fandral concealed this corruption amid growing conflict with the Horde and other threats. Warchief Thrall led the Horde to Durotar, found in Orgrimmar. Despite hardships, they strove for redemption. Rexxar, an ex-Beastmaster, joined the Horde, and the Alliance, led by Jaina Proudmoore, established a fragile peace in Theramore Isle. The peace was shattered when Grand Admiral Dalian Proudmoore, Jaina's father, attacked the Horde. Jaina, seeing the need to address the greater threats, allowed Thrall's forces to attack Theramore, leading to her father's, Dalin's, death. The now Queen, Sylvanas Windrunner, and the Forsaken sought refuge but were rejected by Quel'Thalas and targeted by the Alliance. The Tauren Archdruid, Hamel Rune Totem, facilitated an alliance between the Forsaken and the Horde. Meanwhile, Gnomeregan had fallen to the Trogs, and Sicko Thermopyle's betrayal led to a
No, I mean the Jaina's return to her kingdom and facing the shame of allowing her father to die, and yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's
devastating
right.
loss.
Yeah.
For the gnomes' forces. Survivors fled to Ironforge, and High Tinker Galbin Mekatork encouraged gnomes to support the Alliance rather than reclaim Gnomeregan. During this time, Stormwind became a powerful force, attracting Onyxia's attention. She captured King Varian Rin, who escaped and lost his memory, and then began wandering Kalimdor. With King Varian Rin missing in Kalimdor, his son Anduin was crowned king with Bolvar Fordragon as regent. As chaos spread across Azeroth, ordinary citizens like us rose to confront mounting threats. The Dark Iron Dwarves, enslaved by Ragnaros, sought freedom under Emperor Dagran Thorisan. Following Dagran's death, Moira continued his plans, rallying heroes to challenge Ragnaros and ultimately freeing the Dark Irons. The Horde discovered Moradon, corrupted by Prince Theridras and Zeta, and defeated them, restoring peace in Desolace. Ogre raiders attacked Feralus, driven by Dire Maul's corruption. The Horde discovered that the Emerald Nightmare and the Chandra elves were behind the chaos and defeated them, forcing the elves into exile. Attention then turned to Blackrock Mountain, where Nefarian sought to create a new chromatic dragonflight. The true Horde, led by Dalrend Blackhand, allied with Nefarian, but their plans were thwarted. The Emerald Nightmare's corruption spread beyond Teldrassil, affecting various regions. Druids from the Cenarian Circle fought back, cleansing the Wailing Caverns and stopping the Atalai trolls from summoning Hakar in their temple in Swamp of Sorrows. Despite their efforts, corrupted green dragons caused havoc, but the threat was ultimately contained. The Zandalari trolls sought to help combat the Atalai survival and Hakar's summoning. The Horde intervened in Zul'Gurub, defeating Jindo the Hexer and Hakar. The Twilight Hammer cult, led by Cho'Gall, aimed to release Cthulhu, an old god imprisoned in Ahn'Qiraj. Thrall and Bolvar Fordragon united their forces to combat the threat, defeating Cthulhu and showcasing the power of Azeroth's united heroes. In Lordaeron, the Argent Dawn fought against the remaining remnants of the Scourge, led by Darian Mograine. They sought to free his father's spirits trapped in the corrupted Ashbringer. Despite their efforts, Darian's soul was condemned. During the battle for Lightsoap Chapel, Darian redeemed his father and saved the chapel, though he and the Ashbringer fell into the Scourge's hands. Despite the Scourge's defeat at Lightsoap Chapel, the Lich King sent his forces to terrorize Azeroth. Bolvar Fordragon led the Alliance heroes in an assault on Naxxramas, defeating Kel'Thuzad and halting the Scourge's invasion. Observing growing anomalies in the timeline, Nosdormu, the aspect of time, sent heroes, Ronin, Corielstraz, and Broxigar into the past to correct history. They joined the Night Elf resistance against the Burning Legion in a decisive battle. Broxigar died heroically on Argus. While
And actually, this is relevant to the Legion remix because we have been sent back in time to research stuff around the timeline when Legion invasion happened.
In Sargeras. The timeline was restored, but Nosdormu vanished into the Timeways. After the battles in the Molten Core and Ahn'Qiraj, Outland became the battleground for the heroes of Azeroth. Illidan Stormrage, having failed his assault on the Lich King, was rejected by Kil'jaeden. Illidan refocused on Outland to wage war against the Legion. He fortified Hellfire Citadel and infused ores with the blood of the captured Pit Lord Magtheridon to create formidable warriors. To secure resources, Illidan sent Lady Vaj to Zangarmarsh, exploiting the broken Draenei to build the Coilfang Reservoir. Illidan created demon hunters, elves who consumed the demon flesh and bound themselves to demonic entities, aiming to annihilate the Legion's worlds. Kil'jaeden, seeing Illidan as a threat, sent High Lord Krull and a demon army to Outland. Kil'jaeden targeted the damaged Sunwell, manipulating Kael'thas Sunstrider into aiding his plan. Desperate to save his people, Kael'thas became addicted to fell magic and eventually allied with Kil'jaeden. Kael'thas harnessed Tempest Keep's power in the Netherstorm to create mana forges and captured Muru and Naru to create the Blood Knights, a new order of paladins. As Kael'thas solidified his power, Illidan faced internal strife with Akama, who sought allies to liberate the Black Temple. Maiev Shadowsong joined forces with Akama against Illidan, and despite Akama's betrayal, Illidan used him rather than kill him. In Hellfire Peninsula, High Lord Krull and his Legion forces fortified their position. Adal and his followers in Shattrath sought allies from Azeroth. They discovered that a wing of Tempest Keep could transport them to Azeroth. Velen led a mission to commandeer the Exodar, which had crashed on Azure-Mist Isle. Despite significant casualties, the Draenei were met by the Night Elves and eventually welcomed by the Alliance. Quel'Thalas faced threats from the Undead and the Trolls, and Sylvanas Windrunner urged the Horde to ally with the Blood Elves. Thrall and Cairn Bloodhoof agreed, solidifying this new alliance amongst the Horde despite past conflicts. Kil'jaeden reopened the Dark Portal, sending High Lord Krull and Kazak to create
this is like the story of the Outland now. The Dark Portal got reopened, the Blood Elves joined the Alliance because they felt too betrayed by the humans.
The Horde.
Sorry? They allied with the Horde because they felt too betrayed by the humans to ally themselves with the Alliance, even though it was a pretty controversial thing because the Blood Elves, originally known as the High Elves, had actually more in common with humans than they had with the Horde, but I feel like just the fact of how they were abandoned really struck deep at them.
It wasn't just abandonment. If we consider that something they didn't mention there, Garithos treated the Blood Elves like shit. Like every other race. Like non-humans, he treated like shit. He was a racist piece of shit.
He was a racist. Okay.
So, and also because Sylvanas was with them.
There's a lesson for you children. Don't be a racist.
Exactly, don't be a racist. If you're a racist, don't.
You will get abandoned and you will get invaded by the Lich King.
No.
Under Scourge.
No. If you're racist, your friends will hate you.
Yes, and they will ally with the Horde.
Yeah, exactly. As they should.
On Azeroth and lure defenders into Outland. The Horde and Alliance responded, establishing strongholds in Hellfire Peninsula and forging new alliances. They continued the fight against the Legion and confronting Illidan Stormrage and his forces. After defeating Magtheridon, the Horde found hope in Nagrand. The Alliance and the Horde then ventured into Zangarmarsh to address the ecological damage caused by the Naga. They successfully assaulted Coilfang Reservoir, defeating the Naga and beginning the region's recovery. Shatrath became a key base for the heroes of Azeroth, with a trade and intelligence flow aiding the fight against Illidan's Stormrage. Archmage Khadgar revealed internal rifts within Illidan's ranks, particularly with Kael'thas Sunstrider's betrayal. The siege of the Black Temple commenced, with Illidan facing a desperate situation. Despite strong defences, Illidan sought the Sargarite Keystone to reach Argus. The unified forces of the Horde, Alliance and Shatrath battled through the Black Temple, leading to Illidan's fall. Kael'thas, now allied with Kil'jaeden, invaded the lands of Quel'Thalas and attempted to revive the Sunwell. The Shattered Sun Offensive opposed him, leading to Kael'thas' defeat. With the Demon Lord Kil'jaeden weakened with this offensive, the heroes of Azeroth managed to banish him. Velen purified the Sunwell, restoring the Blood Elves' connection to the magic. Despite the successful joint campaign in Outland, peace between the Horde and the Alliance remained elusive. A summit in Theramore, organised by Jaina Proudmoore, was interrupted by an assassination attempt on King Varian. This worsened relations between the factions, and the resurgence of the Lich King and global attacks by the Scourge further strained this fragile peace. In Northrend, Malygos, the aspect of magic, saw mortal mages as a threat. He aimed to redirect all arcane energy to his lair, the Nexus, and channel it to the Twisting Nether. The Kirin Tor, noticing vanishing arcane power lines, investigated. Malygos' plan threatened Azeroth's slumbering world soul. The Scourge's resurgence spurred both the Alliance and the Horde into action. King Varian Rin dispatched Bolvar Fordragon with the Valiant's expedition to Northrend, and concurrently, Warchief Thrall sent Garrosh Hellscream to lead the Warsong offensive. Despite fierce resistance, both factions established strongholds at the base of Northrend. As the Alliance and the Horde advanced towards Icecrown Citadel, Kel'Thuzad's Naxxramas launched a devastating counterattack. Heroes from both factions assaulted Naxxramas, defeating Kel'Thuzad. This shifted the focus to Icecrown Citadel. Meanwhile, Malygos continued draining Azeroth's magic. The Kirin Tor teleported Dalaran above Northrend and launched an offensive. The Wormrest Accord, led by Alexstrasza, united with mortals to combat Malygos. The battle ended with Malygos' defeat. The leaders of the Horde and the Alliance led campaigns against the Scourge, converging at the Wrathgate. The Lich King unleashed a plague, devastating both factions. Alexstrasza managed to purify the land. They revealed that Forsaken traitors were responsible for the plague. Thrall and Sylvanas joined forces, while Jaina Proudmoore tried to convince Varian Rin of Sylvanas' innocence. Varian declared war on Thrall, leading to skirmishes between the Alliance and the Horde. The Old God, Yogg-Saron in Ulduar, plotted for revenge, using Keeper Loken to build an Iron Army. A joint Alliance-Horde effort confronted Yogg-Saron in the depths of Ulduar, and the assault on the Titan complex was arduous, but heroes triumphed, eventually defeating the Old God Yogg-Saron. Bran Bronzebeard discovered the Keeper Loken's death had activated a titanic failsafe, the Forge of Origination, designed to cleanse Azeroth in the case of pure corruption. Algalon the Observer, initially deemed the failsafe necessary, was swayed by the heroes' determination. Algalon allowed the heroes to halt the failsafe process, saving Azeroth. Tyrion Fordring of the Argent Crusade believed a direct assault on Icecrown Citadel would play into the Lich King's strategy. Instead, he proposed a precision strike and established the Argent Tournament to find champions. Heroes from both factions rallied under Tyrion's leadership. The coordinated assault on Icecrown Citadel began with both factions battling through the defences. In the halls of the Citadel, they faced formidable forces. The combined forces of the Horde and the Alliance led to the fall of the Lich King.
Father, is it over?
At long last. No king rules forever, my son.
I see. Only darkness before me.
Dun dun dun. Arthas is dead.
Arthas Menethil had been defeated, and Bolvar Fordragon became the new Lich King to try and contain the Scourge. Despite the defeat of Cthulhu and Yogg-Saron, the old gods were not fully vanquished. N'Zoth, hidden amid Azeroth's strife, empowered Deathwing with dark energies from Deepholm, aiming to instigate the Hour of Twilight, also known as the End of the World, by creating a rift between Deepholm and Azeroth. Deathwing's emergence caused catastrophic natural disasters.
Now this is Cataclysm.
Appointing Garrosh Hellscream as acting war chief, Thrall found the world imperiled by the Cataclysm. The Cataclysm shattered Azeroth, resulting in widespread destruction. The Twilight Hammer cult, led by Cho'Gall, spread void corruption, reanimating Nefarian and Siltharia with the void magic to create new dragons. Garrosh Hellscream launched an attack on Gilneas, led by Sylvanas Windrunner, exploiting internal struggles, attacks by the Worgen. King Gen Greymane defended valiantly but was forced to evacuate.
Okay.
Why doesn't he mention Onyxia? He mentioned her once, even though being a key.
Yeah.
Like he mentioned that she took abuse of the struggle in Stormwind. But then that they're being that she was defeated by the Alliance isn't mentioned, and that Onyxia was also resurrected by Nefarian.
Yes, I remember that.
Like it's also something to mention.
Yeah, Onyxia was more elaborated in the other video that we've watched. Like there's a whole series of them that goes into in-depth kind of analysis of each one of the characters and stuff. But I think that this is just a quick overview. Like I just wanted to have like a timeline, and now we can like open the little.
Yeah, but they can mention Onyxia as well. We should be honest here, you know, not just Nefarian and her mother.
Let's write a petition, Raven.
Okay, I will. I will now.
Onyxia didn't get the attention that she deserved.
Just in the video. I mean.
Somebody mentioned Onyxia. Come on.
Please.
Evacuate his kingdom. The goblins of the Bilgewater cartel, fleeing Kazan's eruption, joined the Horde, establishing Bilgewater Harbour. The Night Elves, seeking allies, formed an alliance with the Worgen. The alliance, bolstered by the Worgen, repelled Garrosh's assault on Ashenvale. But despite their differences, both factions united to defend Azeroth against Deathwing. Mount Hyjal faced a crisis as Deathwing's forces initiated a ritual to open a rift to the Firelands. The Cenarian Circle, Night Elves, the Horde, and the Alliance forces, with the aid of the Wild Gods, repelled the attack. The Twilight's Hammer, under Deathwing's influence, posed a significant threat. A counterattack led to a siege of Grim Batol, defeating Cho'Gall. Deathwing's brief appearance led to a confrontation with Alexstrasza. Thrall and Alexstrasza rallied the Dragon Aspects to reclaim Wyrmrest Temple from Deathwing's forces. The Dragon Aspects focused on healing Nordrassil, but faced renewed invasion by Ragnaros. Despite setbacks, Azeroth's forces established the Molten Front, ultimately defeating Ragnaros for a second time. To defeat Deathwing, the Dragon Aspects needed the Dragon Soul. With Nosdormu's help, they retrieved it from the past. Thrall wielded it to amplify their power, and despite heavy casualties, they destroyed Deathwing, stopping N'Zoth's plans. The Dragon Aspects sacrificed their powers, leaving the world to the new generation of heroes.
I can feel the elements awakening, rejoicing. The cataclysm is over.
As War Chief Garrosh Hellscream sought aggressive expansion for the Horde, internal conflicts arose within the force. Garrosh's strategy led to the fall of Theramore Isle, where he used a mana bomb to destroy it. Lady Jaina Proudmoore, deeply scarred, became Archmage of the Kirintor, secretly opposing the Horde. Pandaria, hidden in the mists, faced new threats. The Alliance and Horde arrived in the Jade Forest, clashing and ignoring warnings about the destructive Shah. Despite losses, they cooperated to defend Serpent's Heart and halted the Mantid invasion. The Yorngol attacked western Pandaria but were repelled. Anduin Wrynn sought the Veil of Eternal Blossoms, passing trials set by Zien, gaining access to the Veil. Despite significant damage, the heroes vanquished the Shah and secured the Veil. Garrosh established Domination Point. Vol'jin opposed Garrosh's methods, was severely wounded and rescued by Shen Stormstout. Thrall and Vol'jin's allies initiated rebellion. Garrosh sought the Divine Bell, an artifact to drive his armies to victory. Anduin Wrynn neutralized its power.
Betrayal of Garrosh, yeah?
Yep. This is like where Garrosh went completely mad.
Yeah, do you agree with it or do you disagree with it? Because I think that this was controversial as well.
Yeah.
He was a big hero, wasn't he?
in the eyes of the people of the Horde, he was a hero, yeah.
Yeah.
And many people excuse his actions by saying when he said put on Pandaria, he wasn't himself anymore because he was possessed by the Shah of pride. And I think it's not that. I think it's the writer's fault. But I won't go too deep into this now.
You think that it's whose fault?
The writer's fault.
Oh, like the writer shouldn't have wrote that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Saving many, but was severely injured. Anduin also sought out Rathian, who aimed to unite Azeroth against the Burning Legion by strengthening one faction. The Zandalari trolls sought to restore their empire by reviving Lei Shen, the Thunder King. Alliance and Horde forces united to defeat them. Garrosh's Horde discovered the heart of Yasharaj, unleashing the Shah of Pride. The rebellion against Garrosh gained support, leading to the Siege of Orgrimmar. After a brutal battle, Garrosh was defeated and taken away for trial. Vol'jin was appointed the new war chief, but peace remained fragile with the fears of a future Legion invasion. Garrosh Hellscream's trial focused on his crimes, with Tyrande Whisperwind demanding execution and Bane Bloodhoof arguing for imprisonment. The Bronze Dragonflight provided evidence through the Vision of Time, and Sylvanas Windrunner plotted to poison Garrosh, but Anduin Wrynn stopped her plan. Rathian and Keros Dormu facilitated Garrosh's escape, believing he was crucial for the upcoming battle against the Burning Legion. Garrosh betrayed them and recruited orcs from an alternate timeline in Draenor, forming the Iron Horde. The Iron Horde invaded Azeroth through a new dark portal. Alliance and Horde leaders united to repel the invaders, following Garrosh through the portal. They gathered allies in Frostfire Ridge and the Shadowmoon Valley. In Shadowmoon Valley, Veland and Yrel faced the Iron Horde's assault. Veland sacrificed himself to neutralize the Dark Star, restoring hope to the Draenei. In Frostfire Ridge, Thrall joined the Frostwolf clan. In Talador, Khadgar and Cordana Fellsong stopped Gul'dan's plans to summon the Burning Legion. They reclaimed Shatrath from Warlord Blackhand's Iron Fleet. Allied with the outcast Arakoa leader Iskar, the heroes defeated High Sage Virex and established a new order in the Spies of Arak. In Nagrand, Thrall confronted and defeated Garrosh in Amak Gorah. The Alliance infiltrated Highmoor, defeating
Okay, thoughts about Draenor. This was another controversial thing that Blizzard has done. This is probably like the worst time of World of Warcraft, Draenor.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, lore-wise, it's completely bullshit. We don't need that.
Yeah.
But from the mechanics and the game mechanics, Warlords of Draenor wasn't as bad as Shadowlands.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Shadowlands
the PvP
was worse.
And the raids were incredible in Warlords of Draenor. Really, people like them, but there was
have
so much cut
played the
content
beginning,
that,
but I've never played the end content in Draenor.
Yeah, there was so much cut content that people just were very, very, very disappointed from Blizzard. I mean, it's okay, and lore-wise, it's complete bullshit.
Yeah, I remember like the lore kind of
I mean, I have an
twist
alternate.
was a lot.
You know that I write this alternate
Yes.
time how it should have been. This is one of the points that didn't happen.
I love that. I love that you got so upset with World of Warcraft lore writing that you took the matters into your own hand and you decided to
Because
rewrite
the
it.
people fucked up.
Make
And
it right.
I'm still
Perfect.
convinced that some of the lore was written how the writers wanted it to be, not how it should have been.
Yeah.
Like characters completely out of character and plots that don't need to be there just because someone liked the character and they don't like that person. That is one of my conspiracy theories, because the writer of Sylvanas had a girlfriend, woman, wife, I don't know, and she liked Sylvanas overall.
Oh, and they got divorced.
And then she broke up with
Oh
him.
my god.
And then Cataclysm happened.
Oh my fucking god.
So that's my conspiracy theory, and I'm convinced that it happened like this.
Oh my
Because
god. Petty
she was such a good character that just got completely turned over, as well as Garrosh.
Do you think that they got fired since? Because it seems like a Sylvanas redemption is on the way.
Maybe. I mean, most of the people from then were fired because you know what happened at that time also, like the controversy about Blizzard Entertainment because sexual allegations and drinking breast milk from people, this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm gonna finish writing it and I'm gonna send it to you at some point in my life.
Okay, let's finish the video because I kind of have to go soon.
Garth Bladefist and Jogor. Gul'dan created the Fell Horde, prompting Khadgar to urge an invasion of the Tanaan jungle. The champions established a fleet and allied with the Arakoa enemies, ultimately defeating Kilrog Deadeye and rescuing Gromash. At Hellfire Citadel's peak, the champions faced Gul'dan, who summoned Manaroth. After defeating Manaroth, they confronted Archimonde. With Gromash's help, they defeated Archimonde, though Gul'dan escaped. Gromash sought atonement and offered to help rebuild Draenor. Yrel and Durotan agreed to work together for Draenor's recovery. The Burning Legion's threat resurfaced on Azeroth as Gul'dan, under Kil'jaeden's influence, infiltrated the tomb of Sargeras to open a portal to the Twisting Nether, unleashing demons onto the Broken Shore. The ensuing battle was disastrous, with King Varian Rin sacrificing...
It was the Gul'dan from the alternate timeline though, no?
Yeah, the original Gul'dan died.
Yeah, okay.
Also in the Tomb of Sargeras.
Okay, cool.
War Chief Vol'jin appointing Sylvanas Windrunner as his successor before his death.
For the Alliance.
Oh my god. You know what? I like to draw parallels between like fantasies and real life. You know what I need? I need that epic scene of Varian Rin saying for the Alliance, sacrificing himself, in the context of Ursula von der Leyen saying for the EU and charging against Putin's armies in the Ukraine.
and then Putin is just like, you died for nothing.
Yes. Oh my god, I need that.
EU.
I need this in my life.
What role?
Can somebody engage AI, please?
What is the role of Donald Trump in this thing? Is Donald Trump the old god? Oh no, I have a better idea.
He can be Sargeras.
I have a really good idea. Donald Trump is Gallivix, the goblin leader.
Yes. Oh my god, yes. Donald Trump is Gallywix. He actually is. He is the goblin leader. The fat, gluttonous, greedy guy. I love it. Yes, absolutely. That is Donald Trump.
Gul'dan retrieved Illidan Stormrage's body from the vault of the Wardens, aiming to use it as a vessel for Sargeras. Despite Maiev and the Wardens' efforts, the demons invaded. Sylvanas reorganized the Horde, integrating the Illidari, while Prince Anduin Rin prepared to lead the Alliance. The Kirin Tor, led by Khadgar, united both factions against the Legion, relocating Dalaran to the Broken Isles. Champions sought the Pillars of Creation across Azeroth, retrieving the Tidestone of Golganath, the Hammer of Khaz'goroth, and the Aegis of Agromar from their respective locations. In Val-Shara, they secured the Tears of Elune despite heavy losses, including Ysera. Thalisra led a rebellion against Gul'dan and Elisanda in Suromar, reclaiming the city and reviving Illidan, who destroyed Gul'dan. With the Pillars of Creation, Azeroth's champions retook the Broken Shore, placing the pillars and clearing the tomb of Sargeras of demonic forces. They pursued Kil'jaeden to the Twisting Nether and defeated him. Azeroth's forces launched an assault on Argus, where they faced Legion forces. The champions, aided by the Pantheon, defeated Argus the Unmaker and freed the Titans. Illidan ensured Sargeras' imprisonment as the Pantheon captured him. Sargeras, in a final act, stabbed Azeroth with his sword, wounding the planet. Magni Bronzebeard and the champions used legendary artifacts to stem the flow of corruption from Sargeras' sword, but the wound still needed healing, leaving Azeroth's future uncertain. After the Burning Legion's defeat, Azeroth's World Soul was at risk from Sargeras' final act of stabbing the world. Trade Prince Jaster Gallywix discovered Azerite, a powerful new material. War Chief Sylvanas sought to exploit it, leading to increased tensions with the Alliance. The Horde's attack on Darnassus and the burning of Teldrassil ignited the Fourth War. The Alliance retaliated by planning an assault on the Undercity. During the battle, Saurfang hesitated to kill Anduin, aiding the Alliance. Sylvanas ultimately retreated, leaving the Undercity unclaimed. To secure victory, Jaina Proudmoore returned to her homeland Coltyrus to persuade her people to rejoin the Alliance. She faced hostility but eventually secured their support by exposing corruption and piracy within their ranks. Meanwhile, the Horde sought to gain Zandalar's support, facing opposition from King Rastakhan's advisors. Talanji, seeking the Horde's aid, confronted threats from blood trolls, the faithless Sethrak, and the Prophet Zul. Zul's betrayal aligned with Gahun, leading to his defeat and the release of Gahun. Alliance and Horde champions ventured into Uldia to confront Gahun, securing Zandalar's golden fleet for the Horde. The Alliance launched an assault on Zandalar, resulting in Rastakhan's defeat and Talanji's vow for revenge. The Horde infiltrated Coltyrus, rescuing Talanji and Zul. The rise of Ajara trapped the Alliance and the Horde fleets, leading to a confrontation in the Eternal Palace. The heroes defeated Ajara, but inadvertently freed N'Zoth. Anduin and Saurfang united against Sylvanas,
N'Zoth
who
is an
defeated
old god.
Saurfang in Amak Gorah and abandoned the Horde.
You are all nothing!
Oh shit. They
If
really
you could
done her
see
dirty.
yourselves as I see you. Toy soldiers in tin plate. Beasts who howl for honor. Standing as one. Savor it. Nothing lasts.
Yeah.
N'Zoth posed a dire
This is when they done her dirty. This is when the writer divorced his wife.
Way earlier. Way earlier.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
But this time I think they wanted to show that they did her dirty. Like,
Yeah.
hello, we did an oopsie.
Yeah, we did her like very, very, very dirty.
a threat, leading Alliance and Horde leaders to plan an assault on Ny'alotha. Heroes cleansed the Forge of void corruption and defeated N'Zoth's minions, destroying him and freeing Azeroth from the old god corruption. After N'Zoth's defeat, an armistice ended the Fourth War. Tyrande rejected the peace, seeking vengeance on Sylvanas. In Orgrimmar, Horde leaders abolished the position of War Chief, deciding to govern as a council instead.
Oh.
For the first time in years, Azeroth was at peace. After the Fourth War, the fragile peace was tested as both factions sought out Sylvanas Windrunner. The Horde Council faced an assassination attempt on Queen Talanji of the Zandalari, which was stopped by Zikan. Investigations revealed Sylvanas' forces supported rebels to weaken Bonsamdi's influence. With the Horde's help, Talanji defeated the rebels and reaffirmed Zandalar's loyalty to the Horde. Sylvanas defeated Bolvar Foredragon at Icecrown Citadel and shattered the Helm of Domination, breaking the barrier between life and death, and essentially revealing the Maw in the Shadowlands. The Jailer, once the Arbiter, sought to unify death against a cosmic threat. Stripped of power, he gathered allies like Sylvanas to remake reality. With the Helm of Domination destroyed, the uncontrolled Scourge ravaged through Azeroth, and the Jailer's Moorsworn kidnapped Anduin, Jaina, Bane, and Thrall. Bolvar summoned champions to rescue them, and they
Would you say Shadowlands was the worst expansion?
Yep.
Yeah?
Because, first of all, Shadowlands... I mean, I like the idea that we have an image of the afterlife, but I think they did it really bad. Like, we have these weird, funky old four worlds where the people go, and they kind of took the mystery out of death, and the storytelling is just like. Do you know what happened later in the Shadowlands? No, right?
No, I quit as Castellanatria came out. Kind of like I did the first mythic Castellanatria and then I left.
It turns out that the Jailer was behind everything. He controlled the Netherrealm, who did whisper in ears to create the Legion, who corrupted Sargeras, and the Jailer was behind everything. And he was like, at the end, you do not know what will come. And like, this is just, I don't know. This is a story that shouldn't have happened. Like,
okay, so
and
the
many
jailer
people
was
disagree with me.
behind what exactly? The like
Everything.
Like the Legion. He was behind
The creation of the Legion through Zagheras,
shit.
the Four Wars, everything that happened on Azeroth, the Void Lords. No, the Void Lords not really, but almost everything that was influenced by the Legion was controlled by the Nath regime, by the Dreadlords,
Yeah.
and also by the Jailer.
Oh, fuck
And this is like a weak thing, and then he's telling, oh, I did it for the greater good, or trying to say it for the greater good, like.
Oh, so
bullshit.
it's like he whispered in Sargeras's ear to make him hate creation because he was too afraid of the void.
Yeah, for example, and I don't know what kind of bullshit it is. And the last patch that we are going to the Forge of the Forge of Origination. I don't know, like the very, like you could say the writer's office. He went there and he tried to change stuff. I don't know if that's we like we call the jailer the personification of Bobby Kotick. That
God.
he tried to change something, but we try to rescue that, you know.
Oh God.
This is just a bad expansion. The stories, the people were changed, and I don't know. This shouldn't have happened. Like, and many people will agree that what happened there shouldn't be canon. Like, we know it is canon, but we don't accept it. Like, for example,
I wonder if they could like do Warcraft 2 and just remake the story right.
Yeah,
you know?
but especially, like, I can tell you one thing, for example. I mean, that we see some characters that died, that we see them there is okay. That we have, like, look, we could tell them what happened with the world. So this is kind of whack. Like, if characters are dead, they're dead. If we have proof that they didn't die or that their soul was captured, like Gul'dan, like Kel'Thuzad, for example, it's completely different. But seeing this world and we can just go there and talk to the people of the dead, you know, like with the spirits from life. It's just
like
boring.
Death doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah, death doesn't mean anything anymore because we can go to the Shadowlands and talk to them. Oh, I can see my mom again, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's just stupid.
Did we find Vol'jin and Varian?
We did find Vol'jin there.
Of course we did find them. Why not?
Something that pisses me off the most is that we find Kel'Thuzad there.
Oh shit, of course we did.
And Kel'Thuzad wasn't like, oh, I'm loyal to Arthur's my king and stuff. No, he said, oh, this was all a farce. I served the jailer from the beginning.
No.
This is just bullshit.
No.
This is just bullshit. Like, you can't tell me otherwise. It's just bullshit.
They did a boo-boo. Fucking
They did a big boo-boo.
Is Kotick still in charge or was he deposed?
No, Kotick is out since the beginning of 2025. Yeah. No, he's out, but he has nothing to do with that, apparently.
Okay.
But yeah, he's out.
He
since beginning of last year, I think.
Lawsuit, but he didn't save his job. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to run to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Alright.
Actually, okay, we have 15 minutes. I will finish the video. Okay, I'll go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Okay, let's finish it. 15 minutes and I have to go.
Free to Jaina and Thrall whilst learning of the jailer's plans. In Oribas, the champions learned the flow of souls to the Moor threatened the Shadowlands. Sent to Bastion, they discovered the Forsworn's betrayal and alliance with the Jailer. The champions helped uncover the Forsworn's plot. They gained allies and empowered a rune blade to unlock the seat of the Primus. In Maldraxxus, the champions, guided by Drakkar, uncovered treachery, empowered runes, and learned of Kel'Thuzad's alliance with the Jailer. In Ardenweald, the champions helped the Winter Queen save Ysera's wild seed and discovered the dire state of the heart of the forest. They sought aid from Revendreth. In Revendreth, they discovered Sire Denathrius' treachery and joined Prince Renathal to fight him. Despite their efforts, Denathrius revealed the plan to free the Jailer. The Eternal Ones called for unity. Champions joined covenants to empower realms and rescue souls from the Maw, restoring anima flow. They defeated the blighted Drust in Ardenweald, securing the forest. In Bastion, the champions defeated the Forsworn leader Devos and restored peace, and Uther sought redemption. In Revendreth, the champions defeated Denathrius, imprisoning his essence in a sword. They helped Drakkar rally Maldraxxus' forces, uncovering Kel'Thuzad's plans. The champions rescued Bane Bloodhoof and other leaders from the Maw, learning of the Jailer's next move. The Jailer aimed to secure 5 sigils to open the sepulchre of the first ones. Anduin, now dominated by the Jailer, stole the Archon's sigil. The Primus suggested attacking the eastern side of the Maw. Drakkar, Thrall and Alexandros Mograine and other forces joined the battle. They managed to banish Helya and killed Vyraz, appointing Drakkar as Margrave of the House of the Chosen. Oribus, poorly defended, faced a Morsworn attack. Bolvar led an assault on Torghast, and the champions fought through the Jailer's forces, encountering Garrosh Hellscream, who sacrificed himself. At the tower's peak, they defeated Sylvanas Windrunner, but the Jailer took the Arbiter's sigil and opened the portal to Zereth Mortis. With the Primus returned, he assisted each covenant in forging new sigils. Maldraxxus, Revendreth, Bastion and Ardenweald reforged all their sigils, preparing for the final battle. In Zereth Mortis, the champions gained allies and faced the Morsworn, establishing a connection between Zereth Mortis and Oribus. Despite their efforts, Anduin, under the Jailer's control, disabled the Forge of Afterlife's defences. Uther helped Sylvanas reconcile with her fragmented soul, and she aided in freeing...
He made like a big sacrifice. There was a problem with his light. When we were doing on stream the campaign of the War Within, he was like recovering from those events, no?
Yep.
Yeah.
Anduin from the Jailer's control. Freed from the domination, Anduin provided valuable insight. The Primus forged the Crown of Wills to counter the Jailer's powers. Pelagos became the new Arbiter, restoring balance to the Shadowlands. Champions confronted the Jailer at the Sepulchre, who siphoned Azeroth's life force. In a desperate battle, they destroyed the Jailer, who revealed his actions aimed to prevent a cosmic threat. With his defeat, balance was restored. Pelagos judged Sylvanas, sentencing her to return souls from the Maw. Anduin appointed Turelion as Stormwind's regent, seeking redemption, and Azeroth entered a new era of healing. In the 40th year after the Dark Portal, the Dragon Isles reappeared, awakening the Drakthir, dragonkin soldiers created by Deathwing. These evokers, wielding powers of all 5 dragonflights, had been put into a stasis by Deathwing. Upon awakening, they freed their leaders, Scale Commander Emberthal and Scale Commander Sarkareth. The Primalists invaded the Forbidden Reach to free the Storm Eater, forcing the Drakthir to evacuate. Many joined the Horde and the Alliance, while Sarkareth and the Ebon Scales pursued their own path, disillusioned with the dragon aspects. The Alliance and the Horde launched a joint expedition to the Dragon Isles, aiding dragonflights in reactivating their dormant Oathstones. Alexstrasza defeated the Ruby Life Shrine with the help from Rathian, who, along with Sibelian, reclaimed the Obsidian Citadel. On the Onaran Plains, Merithra and the Green Dragonflight restored their Oathstone, while Kalagos, aided by Khadgar and the Iskara Tusker, revived the ley lines in the Azure Span, restoring the Blue Dragonflight's Oathstone. In Valdrakken, Alexstrasza, Kalagos and Nosdormu discovered the Primalist infiltrators and restored the Bronze Dragonflight's Oathstone. The Iskara Tusker united tribes and reopened trade to the Uktalit tribe. Archaeologists in Thaldraszus discovered the Titan Keeper's Tyr's experiments. Alexstrasza, Kalagos and Nosdormu reactivated Tyrhold's forge, but needed to recover Tyr's memories to restore him fully. At the Ancient Bow, Ysera returned from the Shadowlands to defend the Emerald Dream. Her daughter Merithra became the new Green Dragonfly aspect. With all the Oathstones restored, Razageth interrupted Alexstrasza's empowerment of the Mother Oathstone, leading to her defeat, but not before releasing the other 3 Primal Incarnates: Iridikron, Viranoth and Fyrak. returned to the Forbidden Reach to avenge Razagath's death and seek Neltharion's secrets. The Drakthea, led by Amberthal and Abyssian, confronted Zarkarath and his Sundered Flame faction. Fyrak opened a tunnel to the Zaralek caverns to access Aberus, Neltharion's hidden lab. Abyssian, Rathian, and Sibelian heard whispers reminiscent of the old gods. Fyrak infused himself with the Shadow Flame and assaulted the Onaran Plains and the Azure Span. Emberthal destroyed the Oathbinder to prevent Zarkarath from subjugating the Drakthea. Rathion, Sibelian, and their allies entered Aberus, facing Neltharion's failed experiment. Zarkarath infused himself with void magic but was defeated. Rathian and Sibelian set aside their differences, electing Abyssian as the new aspect of the Black Dragonflight. Iridikron allied with the Infinite Dragonflight, causing time instability. Soridormi and Chromie...
What was your opinion on the Dragonflight expansion and the whole story of Rathion and all the shenanigans that they did there?
It's not that bad, but it wasn't also that. I mean, it brought back like a bit of upwind to World of Warcraft.
It brought a bit
But
of
a
what?
story, a bit of updraft to the World of Warcraft. You know, that people start playing it again and stuff. But for me, it was personally a filler episode or a filler arc for World of Warcraft, like as Shadowlands.
It
but a
felt
good
like that.
one, yeah.
Yeah, but not like not one that dumps on the entire lore that they've been building for years and years and years at least.
Yeah.
It seems like that. Like the stakes are much lower. Like it's a bit of like a upkeeping kind of thing, and the World Sword Saga kind of kicks off more like epic events again.
Yeah. Like they brought a bit stability in, was like, oh look, we have dragons here now, and dragons are good.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like nothing really much. A bit of nothing burger, but it's not that bad.
It's okay. All right.
Worked to close time rifts and deal with alternate versions of themselves. Chromie travelled to the past, stopping Iridikron from acquiring Galakron's essence and preventing Nosdormu's corruption into Murozond. Fyrak sought to access the Emerald Dream, abducting Gerithus and recruiting the Druids of the Flame. Virinoth warned Alexstrasza of Fyrak's true goal and joined her against him. Emberthal united the Drakthea, reforming the Sundered Flame into the Ebon Scales. Chromie and Eternus located a stolen Titan disc in the past, discovering it was given to Elisanda of Suramar, and Tyr's Guard was rebuilt to protect Tyr's body. Fyrak breached the Emerald Dream, and Marithra and Tyrande and their allies defended against his invasion. Virinoth recruited allies, including the Netherwing Dragonflight and Storm Dragons. Despite heavy losses, Alexstrasza summoned reinforcements. They managed to defeat Fyrak and his forces, preventing his plans to consume Azeroth in flames. Amyrdrasil bloomed into the physical world, empowering the aspects with new powers,
Amyrdrasil.
aiding Virinoth as the
Amyrdrasil.
Amyrdrasil.
Yeah.
Nice.
sixth aspect. Travad and Tyr's Guard retrieved the Titan Disc from Elisanda in the past, and Tyr was revived in the present. Reunited with Alexstrasza and Nosdormu, Tyr learned about the modern world, and Tyr's Guard helped him find a new purpose. The Dragonflight and Azeroth's heroes celebrated their victory beneath Amyrdrasil. Tyrande planned to settle her people at the New World Tree. Jaina and Thrall experienced strange visions, and Khadgar expressed concerns about the mysterious Harbinger. Ysera fulfilled her vow and returned to the Shadowlands. With the Dragon Isle safe, the Aspects gathered at Valdrakken to thank their mortal allies. Caligos informed Khadgar of his decision to step down from the Council of Six to focus on leading the Blue Dragonflight. Rathian planned to leave the Isles to hunt Iridikron, while Virinoth, representing the Netherwing, and the Thorignir as the Aspect of Storms, revealed a warning from Iridikron about his intent to defeat the Titans with the Harbinger.
You know the Titans infected our world, and I will see them extinguished. The question is, sister, will you?
At Amyrdrasil, the Night Elves settled, with their new capital, Bel Ameth. Tyrande reunited with Malfurion, and they encouraged their daughter, Chandris Feathermoon, to lead their people. Gen Greymane led his people to reclaim Gilneas from the Scarlet Crusade, reluctantly joining forces with the Forsaken. After defeating the Crusade, Gen abdicated the throne to his daughter, Tess Greymane.
And this kingdom now belongs to you.
Father, I...
You
have always been what makes Gilneas truly special to me.
Alarmed by increasing reports of strange visions known as the Radiant Song, Khadgar asks Elaria Windrunner, the first Void Elf, to investigate the Harbinger and uncover the purpose of the Dark Heart. Elaria travels to Telegross Rift, home of the Void Elves, and finds evidence of Void activity across Azeroth. While searching for a missing Void Elf scout, the Harbinger whispers to her, taunting her with visions of the past. She returns to Telegross Rift to find it under attack by void creatures, but her mentor, Locust Walker, banishes them. Locust Walker reveals that the Harbinger is Xalatath, an ancient void entity once allied with the Old Gods and previously trapped within a dagger. He suggests that the Radiant Song is a warning from Azeroth itself, and that Xalatath aims to summon the Void Lords to consume Azeroth.
The radiant visions you spoke of are the very same my people had before our world was consumed by the Void Lord Dimensius.
Could Xalatath be seeking that same fate for Azeroth?
You must find a way to stop her. If you cannot, then Azeroth is already doomed.
As we prepare to explore the newly discovered subterranean realm of Kaz Algar, within Azeroth, this underground expanse, illuminated by a central crystal, reveals previously unexplored zones, including the dark depths of the Nerubian Empire and the radiant underground region of the Arathi. The story appears to come full circle. From the introduction of the Void Lords and their quest to torment slumbering world souls, we now approach what seems to be Azeroth's climax, as the dark forces of the Void attempt to corrupt its world soul.
Who is it, Thrawn? Who's calling out to us?
I'm not sure yet. But that sword was aimed at someone.
Dun, dun.
Okay, so that's the current lore on World of Warcraft.
World of the Warcraft.
World of the Warcraft.
Warcraft?
Warcraft.
The Warcraft.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
Alexa?
It looks like there's a...
Sorry, I cut her electricity. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining. I need to run because I have so much to do and I have an hour left. So, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this very chill building session of Cities Skylines, meanwhile listening to World of Warcraft lore. If you did, like, subscribe, drop a comment. Let me know that you're watching. Thank you, Raven, for joining.
Sure, always.
And I'll be back maybe tomorrow night, maybe not. Let me see how tonight goes, and I will post an update tomorrow afternoon at the channel if we're gonna do a session in the evening. Thank